Hello everybody and welcome to the Tardis Talks. We are here to talk about Jody Whitaker and Chris Chibnall because in the last 24 hours we have had a lot of articles drop because BBC now have finally decided to get up off their backsides and to actually do some promotion. But Chris Chibnall and Jody Whitaker have both come out and said some outrageous things, in my opinion. So we're here to discuss it. And if anybody would like to come on to share their opinion, please do, because some of this is actually absolutely so funny that I could actually cry with laughter. It's that bad. So as I said, over the last 24 hours, Chris and Co have been coming out with some quotes, and I'm just going to show you a quick screenshot of some of the stuff that we're going to be covering today, because this is just I don't even know where to start, to be honest with you, right? So this is a direct quote from Chris Chibnall himself, yeah, it's quite funny. He says, "I think what she's brought is a doctor who is full of hope and positivity and generosity. Chris Chibnall and the cast of Doctor Who celebrate Jody Whitaker's 13th Doctor, but it gets worse." He then adds, "She changed the game, changed history in terms of Doctor Who. Chris Chibnall on Jody Whitaker." Now, the reason why this tweet is actually laughable anyway is the fact that I don't think anybody at the BBC press office has actually watched any of Jody Whitaker's era, especially Flux. She was not full of hope. She was not full of generosity, and she certainly wasn't a positive doctor. She let anybody die because she was so obsessed with finding out who she was that the whole universe was destroyed. That's not giving people hope and positivity. And she certainly wasn't generous to the arachnids in the UK, where she just left one to die, right? Recently in Flux, she let what's-his-face die, yeah man, the old professor, die, all in the name of this doctor, because she's so obsessed with finding out who she actually is. So I kind of find that quite laughable. Now, I'm not going to go in and read the article itself, but it is in the link description if you want to actually read it. But I thought that quote there, those two quotes from Chris Chibnall alone, I mean, what is he on? She changed the game. Yeah, she did change the game, all right. She made sure that no other woman will get to play Doctor Who for a long time to come because she's tainted it. And she didn't change history. You're the one that changed the history of the show, which are diabolical writing. So we can't pin that on her. But absolutely ridiculous quote there from Chris Chibnall. But don't worry, folks. The stupidity is not just seem to have caught up with Chris Chibnall. It seems that Jody Whitaker herself also has been spewing nonsense. And the latest nonsense from her is the same nonsense that she gave when she took over the role, folks. I mean, absolutely, she's leaving, right? And she's off again, banging on again how her female doctor was a role model for little girls out there because, you know, Doctor Who, girls in Doctor Who, they found it hard to look up to a role model, which is a load of balls, as we all know. I mean, there's far more female fans in this fandom since what I say 2005 onwards. So I mean, I don't know what she's crapping on about, but where is this actual quote that she made? I might have to go onto Twitter. Or they're telling me to unlock extras if I want to read this. No, I don't want to actually, Fuck that crap. I mean, what is it on? Nobody wants to subscribe to that stupid magazine. Anyway, where's this quote? If I have to go onto Twitter to get it up, I will. Don't worry, I'm well prepared. But the article is in the link description where she the headline of this article reads saying goodbye is hard, Jody Whitaker. So she's saying that it's hard, the fact that she's stepping down and all of this. I mean, none of us really care if it is or not, but I mean, you haven't really showed us as a fandom that you actually care, so I find that hard to believe. But I want to get her up this quote because this is typical of Jody Whitaker, and of course, as it is the last week, she's gonna come out with this nonsense, and it is nonsense, by the way. So for any Jody Whitaker fan listening to me now saying, "Oh, look, he's picking on Whitaker again," I'm not picking on her. The fact of the matter is, when she comes out with nonsense like this, yeah, she's going to be called out for it because she's telling lies. She's telling absolute lies. So this is a quote from Jody Whitaker as put up by Doctor Who Production News, which is a fan site who obviously look into the production side of things. But this is a direct quote from that article. And it reads, Jody Whitaker, "What's so world-ending about having a female role models when your life is surrounded by them? You don't ask a little girl, is it hard to look... You don't ask a little girl, is it hard to look up to men?" So she's starting all this nonsense again before she leaves to remind everybody that her doctor was for all the little girls out there that were forgotten by Doctor Who. But no little girls were forgotten by Doctor Who. The little girls and the women that became fans of the show because they actually liked the show. This is a problem, as I said, in Hollywood and beyond. They want to try and make all of these shows be inclusive to everybody. But they're specialized niche. Sci-fi is a specialized niche. So, the people that actually enjoy watching Doctor Who will actually watch Doctor Who. And yes, some casual viewers will watch it as well because they like certain characters or they like certain stories and stuff like that. But what we've seen over these last few years is that they've thrown those rule books out the window and they've introduced new rule books where it's to try and make these shows to appeal to every single person out there. And that's wrong. And it is wrong because, these shows are not supposed to appeal to everybody. That's why there's other TV shows out there. So those shows will appeal to people that actually like them. Everybody has their favorite franchises and their favorite genres, right? There's nothing wrong with that. Trying to make them to appeal to other people dilutes the original, in my opinion. And this is what we've seen. But she's coming out with all of this rhetoric again. How, her doctor for little girls and all of this and blah, 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 blah. And we glad there's only 6 days to go, so we don't have to listen to this nonsense anymore. But as I said, the last 24 hours, they've decided to really bang out all of these articles. And a lot of the articles, there's an interview there with Chris Chibnall, which we'll read now in a minute, actually. That's the one that I am going to be reading out, which is from the BBC press office. The other ones are just in the link description. You can check them out for yourselves, because we won't be reading them. I'm just telling you what they're basically the general gist of them is. So here's another headline from the Radio Times. And again, Doctor Who fans and Whovians everywhere, remember, you have to be very grateful to Chris Chibnall and co. Because apparently, folks, And we've heard this a lot again as well, is the fact that, that this thing looks lovely. So the Radio Times wants to remind fans that the power of the Doctor has more visual effect shots than any other episode. So it's going to look all shiny and gorgeous and new. But you see, here's the problem, Radio Times, BBC Press Office, and BBC and the ones in power, right? You can have something looking absolutely amazing. But if the writing falls short and the acting falls short, you can have the best looking thing on TV, right? Shy is still shy. So again, we must be grateful that this looks even better than every other episode. So what you tried to tell us that they didn't really bother in the last few episodes, but they have for this one. Again, Radio Times should really keep their mouth shut when they talk about stuff like that, because it shows. Look, we already know that Chris Chibnall and co didn't care about Doctor Who. They cared about their agenda, their ideology, and their propaganda. Right? They used Doctor Who as the platform to do it. Right? At the end of the day, as I said, this could look like the greatest thing that we've ever seen on TV. If the writing doesn't hold up, the character development doesn't hold up, and the storytelling doesn't hold up, well, then you can shove your your visual effects. Nobody gives a damn. And that's all I want to say on that. Again, though, you can make a comment on that if you want to come on and let me know what you think of all of these headlines and these articles. Remember, all the articles are in the link description. So you can go and read the article if you want to get brushed up. They're all in the link description. Go and check them all out. And if you want to come on and make a comment on a particular article or all of them, you're more than welcome to do so. But don't tell me yet. Don't tell me yet. Wait until I'm finished. When I'm finished talking about everything that I need to talk about, then I'll ask you again. Then if you would like to come on, and then you can drop your name in. So again, Radio Times trying to big this up. Nobody gives a crap if it looks shiny and new. As I said, if the writing doesn't hold up, nobody gives two damns what it looks like. Now, this one I found kind of funny. And because, when I saw this headline, the first thing that popped into my head, well, you broke the show also. But this is a funny one. And I'm not really gonna take the piss out of this one for too long. But this headline here I saw, and I just I kind of said to myself, well, of course you did. Of course you did. So, Jody Whitaker broke the TARDIS before Doctor Who filming wrapped. So she broke the TARDIS, lads. So she's probably coming out the door or something, and she whacked the door off its hinges or something. But yeah, she broke the TARDIS, just like our boss broke the show along with herself. I mean, I just found that really funny when I saw that with that headline. We've heard of other doctors also breaking things in the TARDIS as well. So it's nothing new, but I just thought, Jesus, with everything else that's gone wrong, I mean, for fuck's sake, to break your TARDIS, that's just, I just found it ironic. That's it. Or maybe JWC reviews, maybe it was the door hitting her on the way out, and it hit with such force that it came off the hinges, but they couldn't say to the public that it was the TARDIS that actually did it, so they blamed Whittaker. I'm only joking. By the way, I'm only taking, for any people that are watching that are Jody Whitaker fans, we're only taking the piss here, right? At the end of the day, if you liked her as the Doctor, fair play to you. If you like the storytelling and the writing, fair play to you. But as a fan that didn't, and it's coming to the end of this era, I'm going to poke fun at it, because to be honest with you, all we could do now is actually laugh. The time for getting serious is over now. So I'm just poking fun at all of this stuff because it is fun to do. And I found that headline quite funny, to be quite honest with you. And as I said, that article again, is in the link description, like all of the articles that I have there that I'm just throwing up. We are going to be reading one. There's one in particular that I do want to read. Right, actually, there's two. There's two. So there's one from the Metro and there's one from the BBC Media Centre. So we'll go with the one from the Metro. Now, I'm not going to read the whole article, but I am putting this one up on screen, right? So if you want to read the whole lot yourself, because remember, when you're reading these articles, I have to give me your opinion as well, because some newspaper outlets are very particular. So you have to be careful. So as I said, we're just going to breeze through this. But it's all about Tasman. Now, before I get started on this whole Tasman thing, let me make one thing clear, right? I have no problem with same-sex relationships. Nobody has in the Doctor Who fandom. We've seen it in New Who particularly, right? There has been same-sex or two females, but from different species, right? So we've seen all of that being incorporated into New Who, right? And nobody has a problem with that. But I have a problem with this. And I've had a problem with this for a very, very long time. Because I think the Tasman stands and the Jody Whitaker fans are the J-bots, not the Jody Whitaker fans. They're different. They don't go attacking people. It's the J-bots that do. But you see, they have forgotten something. So I want to remind them that in the very first series of Jody Whitaker's run, it was being set up that Yaz and Ryan would have a romantic relationship, right? Now we've even seen, even though it's poorly done, it's there, right? It's there, right? There's clear development there. It's just shoddy, but it's there, right? So when I hear these Tasman stands and these Jody Whitaker, J-bots, saying that, this was always the plan, it wasn't, sure. Chris Chibnall and Matt Stevens actually confirmed it a few months back anyway in an interview. They were told, Mandip found out about it, she told Jody Whitaker, they went and told them, the production team, they ignored it for a whole season and then decided to play around with it. And I'm quoting Chris Chibnall here, we decided to play around with it a bit, right? So he doesn't respect same-sex relationships. He doesn't. He never has and never will. He doesn't respect the LGBTQ plus community, because if you analyze his era properly, right, and take your biases out of it, because you're a fan of Jodie Whittaker, right, and you wanted her to succeed, right, go back and look at that era again and look at all the LGBTQ plus characters that he's introduced into Doctor Who, and if you could still tell me that he respected them, well then I'm sorry, I think you've lost the plot, because he didn't. But anyway, let's get into this ridiculous article, because they're making a more of a big deal out of this whole Tasman thing. And Doctor Who's Jodie Whittaker teases Yaz and the Doctor's important final scenes together. There is a rumour floating around on Twitter, by the way, that I was tagged in, that Jodie Whittaker's Doctor will indeed actually kiss Yaz at the end of the episode, but to wipe her mind, apparently. So there's your Tasman Tazzies. Like, he respects that little, that he'd actually wipe the fact from Yaz's mind that she has feelings for the Doctor. I mean, as I said, if you're happy with the way he's done it, okay, fair enough. But I think there'd be a lot of people in the LGBTQ plus community that would be absolutely disgusted by it. And maybe when this era is over and people finally grow a set of nuts, they will actually start criticizing this stuff when the time comes. But just, we've been on the ball with this since from day one. And you can hate us all you want and criticize us all you want. But at the end of the day, we could see through what Chris is doing, and it's absolutely disrespectful. Showrunner Chris Chibnall has promised a tear-filled goodbye. Well, there'll be tears of joy, all right. Blah 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 blah. Right? Asked about about Yaz and the Doctor story. I think that's what Chris has really done brilliantly in Legend of the Sea Devils, and then going forward. So hold on. So Jodie even herself, because that must be a quote from Jodie, right? I mean, he did it in Legend of the Sea Devils. Legend of the Sea Devils. Like he decides to do this, and you're saying he done it brilliantly. He didn't do it brilliantly, by the way. That end scene was as cringe as crap. It was forced because there was no build up to it, because the relationship is fake. These are making something, even the media, making something out of this fake relationship. There's nothing there. She was supposed to originally be with Ryan Sinclair, right? And he's kind of actually all, dismiss that all you want. The evidence is there with it if you actually watch the era of Doctor Who, which I don't think most of you have. You only start watching it when you thought there was a chance of Tassie happening. Right? Some of you are not even fans of the show. He's only around because of this rubbish, right? Which is done absolutely wrong. But within that, Yaz and the Doctor, they're not lost, and there is real moments of stillness and connection and conversation, and I think that's really important. They haven't had any conversations. If you wanted this relationship to work, you should have been laying the foundations in the very first series, but you didn't. Now they just go on about the centenary, talking about the Daleks and all the old companions that we all know about. But again, media making a big deal out of this Tasman thing. There we go. Could someone remove Andrew Jones from the chat there? He's the idiot that's just come in and talking about someone's daughter. By the way, this guy keeps tagging this little Who girl to any of my tweets that I put up. Absolutely disgusting, I have to say. So if you could remove that idiot Andrew Jones, please. He's going under a different name there. He pretends, he thinks we're that stupid. And listen, if you keep it up, keep it up, man, because I think you're forgetting and you have a very short memory. The first time that you trolled me, do you remember you came to me and sent me an email to tell me, oh, please don't report me because me uncle and all of this, right? And you are stupid enough to tell me where you live. I'll just get in contact with the local police there. So you better stop tagging me in a child's Twitter account that's run by a father, right? You're an absolute dirtbag. You're disgusting. Now, get over the fact that people didn't like this area, you moron, because you've been at it over 5 years now with other people in the fandom, and everybody is sick and tired of you now, right? Now, get a new hobby, right? Because you've set up literally hundreds, and I mean hundreds of Twitter accounts, right, in the past 5 years alone. Yeah? So get a grip, get a life, sort yourself out, yeah? And move on. And don't tag me in someone else's bloody, or tag my tweets to someone else. Yeah, but you're still listening, right? Don't tag me, right? Try story with other people, right? Enough is enough. And that goes for every other Jody Whitaker fan, or not Jody Whitaker fan, J-Bot and Tassie Stan that's been coming at me the last 2 weeks since she's all found out when this episode was dropping, right? I don't know who the hell you all think you are. It's funny though, isn't it, that you all stayed quiet for the last couple of months because there was no Doctor Who content for you. But as soon as you found out the episode was dropping, you are all back and alive again. A Doctor Who fan doesn't leave the fandom and decide to come back when the episode drops. That's not a fan. Right? So, you know, a lot of yous come at me, yeah? And then a lot of yous have then ended up blocking me or just walking away. Best thing for you is don't comment on any of my tweets. If you don't like what I have to say, remember, you don't have to react. You choose to react, and if you're going to react and come at me, yeah, I'm going to retweet you, and I'm gonna make a fool of you. And I'll make a fool of the whole lot of you like I have done for these last couple of days. You think I care? 6 days to go, baby, and this is all over, right? You have no power in this fandom anymore. You are done. You are a spent force. Get over it, realise it, and get on with it, okay? Your precious doctor is gone, right? She's leaving, right? So all of this nonsense that yous are doing now, it makes no difference. Yous aren't getting anywhere, right? And to come to me and call me out as a bully, but yeah, yous are all turning up at my Twitter account with brand new accounts. I wonder why that is. Because yous had these are old accounts suspended for bullying and harassment. Yous are an absolute joke. Yous are a huge stain on this fandom, just like Jody Whitaker and Chibnall. Yous are an absolute disgrace. Absolute disgrace. You've brought this show to its knees. You brought this fandom to its knees. All in support of a man who hadn't got a clue how to write Doctor Who. All in the cause of a woman who's nothing being vindictive and mocks fans and coming out with nonsense about Doctor Who not appealing to women before she came along. Saying that Doctor Who, that a male doctor couldn't be a role model for a girl. I think she want to take a long, hard look at this fandom before she came along. And she will see that everything is coming out of our mouth is nonsense. Everything that's coming out of our mouth is nonsense. Right? It's all bullshit. You women have played a huge part in Doctor Who as far back as the classic era. And all of us so-called male toxic fans, as you call us, have never had a fucking problem with any one of them. Right? In 2005, when we got an influx of new fans, we didn't say, hey, wait a minute, you're a woman, you can't be a fan of Doctor Who. No, never happened. Never fucking happened. Actually, I would say there was a lot more of influx of new fans since 2005. Okay? So all of this before Jodie came along, right? Women didn't... Bullshit. Absolute bull. Sick and tired of this narrative that yous have made up, right? And yous can keep coming at me. Keep coming at me all yous want. I'll run rings around yous as I've been doing these last couple of weeks. You think I care if yous come at me now? Right, as I said, 6 days to go. Nobody gives a flying crap. Yous don't have any power in this fandom anymore. Yous don't have any influence in this fandom anymore. Yous are done. And a lot of yous did say that yous were going to go after Jody Whitaker was leaving. Yeah? My advice to you is actually leave. Yes, do that. Do us all a favour and leave. Because maybe then this fandom can heal. Maybe then this fandom can be a place where fans don't feel like they have to keep their opinions to themselves because they're worried about being piled on by a bunch of fucking little kids who have no clue about the show's history, right? About the passion, about the emotional attachment that fans have to this show. Yous are nothing but locusts. Yous are a stain on this show's history, on the fandom, along with yous our showrunner and yous our precious doctor. And when those two finally go in this last episode next week, you go with them too. Go with them too. Because I can tell you now, and I'm giving you a friendly little warning here, not that I'll have anything to do with it because I don't really care. I'm moving on. But if you think that fans that have been harassed and bullied by you guys for the last 5 years are going to sit in silence this week and are going to sit in silence the night of the special, you've got another thing coming. You've got another thing coming. You know what they say? Revenge is a dish. What's a revenge is a dish. A dish. I fucked it up. Anyway, a lot of fans have bided their time these last 5 years. And I tell you, if people think that the last 5 years in this fandom have been crazy, this last week is revenge is a dish best served cold. There you go. I finally fucking got it, but I ruined it. I was on a roll there. But anyway, you can't go around and think that you can harass, bully, send death threats to this fandom for the last 5 years and there's going to be no consequence. And a lot of fans have been biding their time. And this week is special for a lot of fans, right? Because this is an end of a 5-year nightmare. A 5-year nightmare that never needed to happen. Now, I don't care. People telling me, well, you know, Jodie was all right, this, that, and the other, but the scripts let her down. I'm sorry, right? If that's how you feel, that's fine, right? But to me, she was god-awful in the role. She's good in other stuff. She's just not a leading lady, and that's the bottom line for me. Anyway. Exactly. Listen, see, this is the thing. We always knew in the end, right, that this was a long-term thing, this culture war that we've been fighting. And along the way, these fans have gotten their little victories, right? But the thing about it is, it doesn't matter. It never mattered whether they got little victories or not, because this was always going to come to an end anyway, right? So they weren't going to win the war, right? Because how they didn't win the war was because they were all hoping after Jody Whitaker and praying that RTD would cast another woman, therefore to verify and to cement Jody Whitaker's legacy. But that hasn't happened. Chris Chibnall has gone back and cast a male for the role, right? Because he believes the Doctor is a male. Now, that's not to say somewhere down the future he might decide, but even listening to his interviews, it looks like he's only going to do 2 or 3 series maybe of shooties, and then he's going to hand over the reins to someone else. So we mightn't even get a female Doctor. I think, look at, she said, Chris Chibnall's quote, she made history. Yes, she did. She did. And I remember the article, it's just at the popping into my head where she said, oh, I thought I did it wrong and messed it up for women. And someone told her that she didn't. You are absolutely right. Your gut feeling was right. You did ruin it for another woman. You did. You did. And by the way, while I'm not down with the gender swap, right? Jodie Whitaker was the wrong actress. If they had brought in an actress that actually had a decent CV, right? An actress that can actually command the screen, like a Jodie Comer or an Olivia Colman. And there's been some other names mentioned throughout the last 5 years, right? If you had got one of those actresses, right, she would have been better in the role. Still, though, with Chris Chibnall there, it still would have fell apart anyway. But remember, you know, Peter Capaldi's era is flawed because some of Moffat's writing was bad. But some of those scripts were elevated because he was so good. So could you have imagined if we actually had got an actress that was decent? She could have elevated some of those scripts. But in saying that, some of those scripts were so god-awful, even bleeding, even Meryl Streep couldn't get the best out of those stories, man. They were that bad. But this is the thing I noticed. They're all out of the woodwork now. So I don't know where you have been living for these past few months since the last special, right? But don't come at me. Don't come at me and give me as our bull crap. The same crap that I've been going around bullying fans in this fandom for the last few years. I've never bullied anybody in this fandom. Not one person have I ever bullied in this fandom, right? Never bullied anybody in this fandom. And I can say that with confidence. I never bullied anybody in this fandom. All I ever did was respond to bullies, but somehow that's been fucking twisted, right? Because that's what they do today. They twist everything. I'm not the bully. I stand up for myself. I stand up for me friends. And I stand up for their right to have an opinion on this era of Doctor Who. Seriously, man. I'm sick and tired of these fans twisting everything. And as I said, they're all coming at me with new accounts. So that means one thing. They set up new accounts because their other accounts have been suspended, but yeah, I'm the bully. And they're coming after me. Yeah, that makes sense. But you know, that's the logic of a J-bot. That's the logic of a Tassie. And that's the logic of some of these bigger accounts out there that are facilitating, and they think that I'm stupid. I know you're facilitating all of this happening because I know you're retweeting me tweets because you can't handle the fact that I'm still having opinions. Right? Now, if you don't want to do your own dirty work, I suggest you shut the fuck up. Simple as that. Stop sending all these kids to me to do your dirty work. If you're not man enough and have the balls enough to stand up to me on your own 2 feet, don't be sending me these kids. Because what's happening is I'm making a fool of them all. And that's not fair. That's not fair. It's not a fair fight. You know? You're literally sending stupidity my way. I'm a higher intelligence than they are. So, like, you know, as I said, if you cannot fight your own battles, don't be retweeting me tweets so I get dogpiled, therefore letting these kids do your dirty work. If you've got anything to say about any of the tweets that I'm throwing up, you come to me directly. If not, I suggest you shut up. Simple as that. And I suggest that you jog on. Anyway. So that's the Tassie thing, which is an absolute joke as well. But I'll get called all names for calling that out. Like, you know, because so Doctor Who and the cast do an interview. So what I'll do is I'll only concentrate on Chris Chibnall and Jody Whitaker's comments only, because I've no interest in what Mandip has to say, John Bishop or any of the others. To be quite interesting, to be quite frank with you. So this is the Chris Chibnall interview, right? So I'll breeze through this as quick as I can. And then, as I said, if anybody wants to come on and make a comment on anything that I've mentioned, please do. Now, if you don't know what I've mentioned, go into the link description there. Go and look at all of these links that I've put in. And if there's anything that you would make to like a direct comment on, let me know. Now, obviously, wait till after this interview to start dropping your names. And I'll read this out. So there's Chris Chibnall there. So this was obviously at the premiere when he did this interview, maybe. And there he is looking all smiley there with a Dalek. Get your hands off that Dalek before you fucking ruin them as well. Anyway. Can you tell us what audiences can expect from this special? Yeah, I'm going to bore the audience to hell. It's going to look great. But I was sitting around the writer's room table with my team, and you know, we were trying to come up with a story, and then I thought I would center the story around this whole Tasman thing, you know, because you know, that's what Doctor Who is all about. It's not about sci-fi and space and monsters anymore. It's about romantic love and you know, preaching to the audience about. I'm only messing. Anyway, you can expect a massive all-action thrill ride from start to finish. There will be laughter. Yes, there will. There will be huge jeopardy. No, there won't. And there will be tears at the departure of the 13th Doctor. Yeah, tears of joy. Bring it on. Bring it on. It's the biggest threat the Doctor has ever faced. I thought the biggest threat the Doctor ever faced was Influx, but now this is the biggest threat that the Doctor has ever faced. Okay. So they're doubling down. And any Doctor has ever faced, yeah, to their life or their lives. He's going to mess around with other Doctors too. We already knew that anyway, didn't we? Can you talk about the process in putting this feature length episode together? What did you finally set out to achieve? Well, it was quite simple, really. We were all sitting around, as I said, the writer room's table there, and we were trying to come up with some ideas for this. So what we basically did was we put all the ideas into a bowl and you know, we threw them against the wall, and whatever stuck is what the elements we put into the episode. There's no real thinking behind it, you know. We don't have any real plan or anything like that. We just kind of wing it, you know what I mean? As I said, you know, it's not a democracy. We'll write it the way we want to write it and stuff, and yeah, it was great. It was great. It was great. I have to say, you know, Maxine Alderton was kind of showing me up a little bit, so I had to kick her out. But, you know, other than that, it was all great. Anyway, let's see what he actually really said. He said, it is particularly unique brief and particularly unique episode because it's a regeneration episode, but it's also a celebratory episode for the BBC centenary and Doctor Who's place within the BBC. So I really wanted to ensure that it had a significant scale, but also that it was connected into the past, present, and future of Doctor Who. We are bringing back characters like Tegan and Ace because, you know, we got to throw in those member berries because, you know, we are writing so bad that we decided to put in the member berries so we could distract the audience from the shite that we were writing. Anyway, and there's lots of Easter eggs. Some are visual, some are verbal, some are deeply buried that only a few people will recognize them. But there are so many references. Well, that's most of the fandom now, isn't it? Because most of the people that you have watching this won't know any of these references that you're going on about. And we're saying goodbye to a very beloved Doctor. The most fucking hated Doctor. Anyway. We've got some exciting returnees such as Sacha Dhawan, Sophie, and Janet. How was it having those conversations? Well, it was quite easy, really. You know, I gave them all a ring and I said, "Listen, I fucked this up majorly, and I need your help. You know, I need member berries. So if you guys could come back, that'd be great." And you know, Sasha, you know, for me personally, you know, I wanted to bring his master in, but then I didn't know what to do with him, and I didn't really not, you know, give him such a great character development. So I said, look, if you come back, I'll give you something to do in this episode. So as you're seeing from some of the stills, he's going to be Rasputin and all and stuff. So we're really developing his character on the very last episode. You know, I mean, maybe we should have done this when he first appeared, but you know, we just couldn't be asked because we were concentrating on the Tassie stuff, you know. One of the great joys, and this is what he really said, one of the great joys are always the phone calls to people who have been on the show or might want to be in the show. Of course, listen, he knows they're all going to want to be on the show anyway, especially the classic characters because they love Doctor Who for the love of Doctor Who. So, I mean, he's exploiting them. So the calls to Janet and Sophie were wonderful, incredibly emotional. I say the conversation went along the lines like this. How are you, Sophie, Janet? As showrunner Doctor Who, it's not going too well, but we had this our nightmare of this centenary special, and I was just wondering, like, if you would like to, be part of the show, and give us a leg up there, because we're in dire need here, we got to get the ratings up or make it look like that it's good, Are you interested? Anyway, did you always want to bring back the companions from the past? No, not really. I didn't want to bring any of it back, but after Series 11, when I screwed that up royally, I had to go back to the tried and tested. But even then, I kind of struggled a little bit. You know what I mean? It was very hard being showrunner of Doctor Who. It's quite a unique show, But and I did try to change everything about the show to kind of, because I didn't want to adapt to the show, and neither did Jody. We just wanted to come in and, have that on our CV. So we decided to, adapt the show for us, you know what I mean? And it didn't really work out. So, I got to do something, brought back the Sea Devils as well. They were rumoured since Series 11. And I thought, I don't want to bring back the Sea Devils because they look silly and all. But, when the shit hit the fan, I brought back the Cybermen, the Daleks, the Weeping Angels. I did it all. We did it all, even though I said in my very first interview I wouldn't. I backtracked because, I'm such a crap showrunner. Anyway, I'm not gonna read his response because we knew that he was never wanted to do any of this. But because he absolutely failed, so he's bringing all these. We have a focus on villains in this episode. Was it hard to keep the balance of good, evil? Will it be a dark episode? I will say it's fast, lively, and exciting episode. So a bit like Flux. It's gonna jump everywhere, folks. Basically, because he's gonna introduce so many characters. This is gonna be like Flux in an hour and a half. They talk about COVID, which we don't give a crap about. How was it writing the Doctor's final scenes? And did you see them being filmed? Writing it, I always knew there was it was going, so I knew what I was writing towards. I knew what the final words were going to be. She probably said, "I did." She's probably going to say, "I did it my way, and I was an upgrade." I think we already know what our final words are going to be. Anyway, it's going to be a dig. I was on set for the final day of shoot. There were lots of people on set, and there was an outpouring of love. It was a very special and fun-filled day. There was lots of music being played. Jody put on a playlist. What was that? Ding Dong, The Witch is Dead, and other greatest hits like that. We Need a Hero, maybe, stuff like that. Was that our playlist? Production team has done a great job in scheduling and the final scenes of Doctor Who, as the final scenes were going to be filmed, which isn't always the case, and it felt very appropriate, very right, very lovely. It didn't feel like a sad day. It felt like a very happy day, a sense of job well done. I suppose, you're going to give yourself a pat on the back for this rubbish, but yeah, well done. Congratulations. And this is it. This is the question and the quote. So what do you think Jodie's impact has been during her time as the Doctor? Well, that's a very hard question to kind of answer right now because as you've seen since our announcement, there's been this element in the fandom that just haven't stopped about how we've ruined the show and how our Doctor is being mocking fans. I mean, they've done a lot of damage to us because they've highlighted all the nasty things that we're actually doing. And, we try to kind of, sweep it all under the carpet there. But, I think the impact she will have on the fandom is one of, maybe where fans feel like, they want to gouge their eyes out and not watch the thing. I think her legacy will be she'll be considered the worst doctor of all time. I mean, I, I mean, I set out all my goals. We wanted to destroy Doctor Who. We wanted to make her the worst doctor and the most hated doctor. I think we've achieved that. And, our fans are god awful. They're the worst human beings that you could ever see in a fandom. But I have to say, congratulations to them on a job well done for bullying and harassing this fandom and sending death threats for the last 5 years. It's been an absolute pleasure pandering to you. But, it's time to go now. So, I see you later. She changed the game, he said. She changed history in the terms of Doctor Who. I think what she's brought is a Doctor Who is full of hope, laughable, and positivity and generosity, laughable. And I think these times really need that. I think she's shown off her incredible sort of clowning side. Well, she is a clown. The humour that she has, that she can do. She's not humorous at all. She might think she's funny, but she's not. Which maybe some people didn't know her for beforehand. No. Listen, if people came in knowing that Jody Whitaker wasn't a comedian, they're gonna go out knowing that she wasn't a comedian. Her doctor was dire. I think she enriched the character of the Doctor, as all actors who have played the Doctor do. But it's an incredibly bold and brave performance. And she took responsibility for the Doctor being a woman. She took it on her shoulders and represented, and that was not a given. So he's even said it there that she was representing. That's her strength and her decision and power. I think she's been utterly magnificent. She exceeded all her expectations. Well, your expectations were very low then. She's given a whole generation of young girls and women, a chance to feel that they are the Doctor. Right, listen, I just want to say something there, Chris, right? Even when the Doctor was a bloke, I don't know if you went to conventions. You probably haven't went to them. Actually, I know you didn't after Series 11. You didn't bother your arse. But if you would have seen a lot of women dress up as male doctors. So again, you're talking out your arse as well. Females had a doctor there already, right? And some females actually really fangirled the male doctor also, right? See, again, idiot. She's given a whole generation of young girls and women a chance to feel like they are the Doctor also. And that was always the purpose from the start of this era, was to really widen that net. So do you remember when he came in and did his first interview and he told us that he literally would only take the job if he cast a woman. But then when he got the job, then he changed his mind and he came out and he says, oh no, we did do auditions for other people, right? We did have blokes auditioning, but we did have our heart and mind set on a woman. Well, he's just had to actually basically confirming it there that he'd no intentions of casting the male Doctor. So what is Chib's favourite episodes? So if you could pick your top 2 or 3 favourite episodes, which would they be? So he says he's going to have maybe more than 3. So Spyfall, he liked Rosa, Demons of the Punjab, Kerblam, Fugitive of the Jadoon, Ascension of the Cybermen, War of the Sontarans, Village of the Angels, Eve of the Daleks. But there are actually loads of them that I really love and I'm really proud of. Wow, you really did set the bar really low, man. He really did set the bar really low. I don't know how this was even allowed to happen. What are you most proud of your time on the show, and what will you miss most about Doctor Who? It's really hard to think about what you're proud of. I like a range of stories and variety stories. There's a lot to be proud of. The first woman doctor, of course. A lot of women writing and directing the show, as if that never happened before anyway, but okay. That was the mission statement at the start for me. Again, he's confirming here, as I said, like what we said, he had no intentions of casting a bloke doctor. And by the way, why would he get rid of Peter Capaldi? You know, if he had a bloke doctor. See, Peter Capaldi was sacked. This actually proves it now. Peter was replaced for Jody Whitaker. He's made it absolutely clear that that was his whole goal all along. So thank you for confirming everything that a lot of fan channels out there have been saying from day one, Chris Chibnall. Did you take any mementos from the set? We don't really care. This is also the end of Yaz's journey. What can we expect? It's a big episode for Yaz. We hear that every time. It's the last chapter in her story. And there's a lot she has to deal with in this story. I really wanted to feel big for Yaz as an episode. And I really think it does. So basically, so let me get this straight, Chris. It's Jody Whittaker's final farewell, right? You're bringing back Tegan and Ace. And now you're telling us that Yaz is going to have a bigger role to play. Is the Doctor going to feature in this episode at all? Or is she actually going to be on the screen for long in our own hour and a half episode? Because it seems to me like, you know, this is going to be another Flux where there's so many characters that he's going to have to introduce. It's going to take away from certain characters. And then if he's focusing on Yaz to try to give her more of a story before the era ends, because she still is the most worst character developed companion. I don't care what anybody says. She's absolutely dire. Are you excited about the next era and being a viewer again? I'm really looking forward to it, not knowing anything. Why would RTD tell you anything anyway? You probably leak it deliberately just to be a sour grapes. I'm always enjoying it. And in fact, I had to say to Russell on a couple of occasions, please don't tell me I'm lucky enough to have seen the full ending of The Power of the Doctor. And even the tiny bit of the end just made me thrilled and excited and desperate to see about what's to come next. It's a delightful prospect. Can you tease what's coming next for you? Yeah, well, you know, I've had a rough 5 years, so I'm just going to take a break for a while, you know, maybe come back with some other show to run, but for now, I'm just going to kick the feet up and I'm going to enjoy Doctor Who, like all the fans out there, you know, that's the right thing to say. We say that, even though we won't bother our arses watching, you know. We just say that anyway. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing RTD's era, you know, to see a man who can write the Doctor far superior and write far superior stories than I've ever had. You know what I mean? So, yeah. Anyway, that's the great thing now. I don't have to tease anything, laughs. I'm doing a lot of different projects. I'm doing stage projects just like Whittaker. Quite a lot of TV activity, and we'll see where it goes. But I'm having a lot of fun doing very different things. And that is the Chris Chibnall portion of that ridiculous interview. Let's see what everybody in the chat has been saying while I've been reading and doing me little mad little voices, because, like, you know. And don't worry, I have one of oh, these are all thinking that I'm that bad, that these are all asking where Ballstreck is. Okay. Right, I won't put on any more voices then. Obviously, I'm not good enough for you all. Feck yous. Money messing. Anyway, let's hear what the Queen has to say herself anyway. Let's see what Jody Whitaker's interview is like. So there she is, looking all serious in the TARDIS there with her rainbow, you know, t-shirt with her jacket there, which I like our dark version of her jacket, I'm not going to lie. So can you tell us what audiences can expect from your big finale
it's going to be the typical, you can't really talk right now because I'm just looking at how beautiful I am. But anyway, it's going to be big. Lots of things happening. I haven't got a clue what's happening myself, but lots of things happening. All right. There's some Daleks as far as I know, and I think the Master is coming as well. But I don't know why else. Oh yeah. This is the episode where I get all the stuff around my body, like, because I'm not going to be the Doctor anymore. You know?
Actually, what she really said was, I would like to say that Whovians are in for an absolute treat. We celebrate the old, the present, and the new. It's wonderful how much the legacy of Doctor Who has had. It encapsulates all the things that the fans love about Doctor Who, whether it's all monsters, returning characters, new elements, everything that unites Whovians is in this episode. If you haven't seen Doctor Who before, this special will sure to hook you. So basically, again, though, there you go. It's basically what she's saying there is,
you don't have to watch any of my previous stuff on Doctor Who to watch this because, it's so badly written. You don't have to be a fan.
what is exciting? What is exciting to be part of the BBC Centenary specials?
I think this is going to be absolutely great because, it's probably the biggest thing that ever happened in my career, besides this show itself that I've ruined. But, looking forward to it. It should be absolutely fantastic. And it's always good to have Doctor Who on the TV.
It is. I love the BBC. It's a huge part of the fabric of our industry. Doctor Who is a huge part of that, being part of the show that is so iconic in the BBC. I'm very passionate about. It's a pity you didn't show that when you were actually doing your interviews. For this episode to come out now is a real celebration. As a young kid, the TV shows I watched led me to this now. That's not what you said in your very first interview. Ooh, you're telling lies. You're telling lies because that's not what you actually said. That's not what I actually said. You said Doctor Who didn't appeal to little girls. You were off doing other stuff. Now you're trying to make out that all of these other TV shows that you're watching led you to Doctor Who. Bullshit. You can't bullshit a bullshit artist, man. Get away. It's a huge episode for villains. It's the first time we got to work. We've got the Cybermen, the Master, and the Daleks all in one. How was that being working with Sasha again?
I think so. He's a great actor, when he comes on, you can see that he commands the screen, and he's a bit of a crazy one. I got all the villains, didn't I? I suppose, as I said, Chris said earlier, you got to get the old member berries in there, because, it's going to be so bad. You got to have them, you know what I mean?
I love Sasha. He's amazing, an incredible actor, and phenomenal force of nature on set. His detail and level of commitment to the Master is inspiring. Well, why didn't you have the same level of commitment? But in that, he's also a team player. He turned up and the crew loved him. He's a team player, as in if he didn't get with the program, he wouldn't have got a job, Jodie. Is that what you're saying? For me, he's the perfect villain. Now, you're the villain. You're the villain. Because in real life, he's the complete opposite. And on screen, you absolutely believe everything that comes out of his mouth. He is my favourite, but I have to say, it's the one bright spark of this era. I know a lot of you don't like Sasha, but I do. I actually like his, I love his Master. So she needed that moment with the master basically to make it feel like that she was, how tense are those scenes?
Yeah, kind of scared me a little bit because, as I said, he's such a better actor, and we had to do a few takes because, I just couldn't get into it. This is a goddamn sci-fi show. I do the grieving mother and Broadchurch and stuff like that. This is not my kind of role. I was actually even surprised when Chris rang me up and said, "Here, Jodie, do you want to take the role of Doctor Who?" I was kind of like, "Are you on drugs or something?"
How are the stunts this time?
Oh, yeah, the stunts were great. Do you know I do my own stunts, by the way? I'm super great. I do all my stunts. I don't have a stunt double whatsoever. You never see a stunt double on Doctor Who because I do all me stunts like Brie Larson and Captain Marvel. Us best as ever women. They do our own stunts. You know what I mean? Yeah, we don't rely on those fucking, those stunt doubles, Yeah, absolutely disgraceful, anybody who uses stunt doubles.
So she's going to give us some crap where she did all the stunts and all of that, blah, 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 blah. I don't actually really care what she has to say. I just wanted to take the piss out of the interview. Can you tell us about the atmosphere and set during those final?
Oh, yeah, it was great because we knew we were going to be pandering to the Tazzies and all. And, the thing about it is because we've been in such a bad area, Doctor Who, we had to pander to someone. And we're hoping, with the Tazzies and bringing back Ace and Tegan and all of these other little surprises that we can boost the ratings for that final episode and make it somehow look half decent, I mean, if we get the same figures as the woman who fell to earth, I'll be very happy about that. But, as you're saying, there's been a deep decline in the old series. And, sometimes it's kind of upsetting, but you have to get on with it, don't you? Yeah. Anyway.
Nobody gives a crap what you say. What will you miss about... Now, this is the part, actually, yeah. What will you miss about being the Doctor? I'm not a method actor. You could say that again. I don't stay in character between scenes, but I spent a lot of time before I played the Doctor doing quite emotionally traumatizing roles. I played people who lost children, people whose husband had been disabled, things where characters were on the brink of a lot of time. There were major events that I can't understand. So a lot of the time at work, you were always on the moment of devastation. A lot of the time for me, filming was amazing and fun to do, but there was always on the brink of upset with Doctor Who. There were 4 seasons. There was heartbreak. There was fear and there was loss. But my overriding emotion was excitement. I felt like the overriding thing the Doctor brought was curiosity and excitement. Obviously, fear, rage, and all of those things. But the thing that encapsulates my Doctor the most was bouncing into things. And that really fed into my life. I'm not someone who sits in character all weekend, but you do realize how much that emotional trauma leaves you on the edge of upset when you are doing it for 12 hours a day. You don't quite let it go at the end of the day without realizing. So the reason that I can gush so much about this job is because it wasn't just happiness on set. It fed into everything. I feel like it knocked 15 years at me because I've always been so energized because I had to work with it fed outwards, and I'll miss the energy of the Doctor. Wow, that's probably, that's probably the best thing that you have ever said. But at the same time, it shows me that you don't give 2 fucks about any role that you play. I mean, actors and actresses live and breathe their roles. I mean, that's what essentially you're saying there, is that you don't live and breathe any of your roles. I mean, I think that's quite lazy. Well, that's just me. What you looking forward to being a viewer of the next series?
Yeah, I'm not really gonna watch, you know what I mean? I just say that shit like all the other actors and actresses that have ever been on the show, we don't really watch it, once a time when the show is done, we like to move on to bigger and better things, And I did say better because we actually destroyed the show, so I'm moving on to better things now, you know what I mean? With job done, job done. I come in to tell all the white male gazing bastards that this show wasn't for them anymore. Job done. Job fucking done. So now I will be watching this Doctor. I can't stand the show. It was a platform. Never liked the show. I didn't bother doing my research, as you know, and then I got called out for it, and then I had to pretend that I watched some David Tennant episodes and all of that shit. So I won't be watching.
What she actually said was, I'm really excited not to know any spoilers. There are two big events for me. Knowing it turned into the Master and that the Whovians would be like, oh my God. And then they dig up a TARDIS and I turn around to Joe Martin, who is the Doctor. Knowing those two things were coming in one season and they hadn't been leaked was the most fun. Actually, they were leaked. Everybody knew. Oh my God, they're really shielding this woman from everything. So now I won't get to know those things before they come out. So I can't wait to go. You're kidding me. I cannot wait to see it in real time. And I don't have the stress of keeping the secrets. Well, you won't be watching. You won't be watching. You'll be busy being a mammy, which is good, noble cause. And well done to you. Congratulations on the kids, by the way. But you won't be watching Doctor Who. Don't lie. You won't be watching. Right? You just move on. It was a little thing on your CV. Did you steal anything from set? I got my costume, the Sonic, a Cyberman. When I fly the TARDIS, the flick switch and what spins inside is a mini TARDIS that lights up, so that spins, and then I pull down the handle. I've got that too. So she stole everything. Oh, here we go. Of course, this question was going to pop up because they have to keep the Tassies interested in this interview. So they say, "Oh, you and Mandip have spent such a long time together. What will you miss most about the bond between the Doctor and Yaz?"
Well, there was no bond with the Doctor and Yaz, because originally, Yaz was supposed to get it on with Ryan Sinclair, but then Towson decided that he'd had enough of the show because of all the drama backstage, so he left, and there was no relationship between the Doctor and yes, this was a fan thing, and Mandip had told me, and then we went and told Matt and Chris about it, and we ignored it for a whole year, and we just decided for the last season kind of to just bring it in to, as Chris said, to play around with it and all, it was very sad, very sad. But we had to do it because we've got no viewers now. We got to pander to someone that cares,
Anyway, I'm not going to read that answer because, to be honest with you, it's a bullshit answer. But she talks about sisterhood and all of this other rubbish and blah, 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 as if there was no sisterhood in the Doctor Who. Yeah, and then the Plank does an interview there. So if you want to listen to Yaz the Plank, oh, actually, no, that's Mandip. Sorry, it's not the actual character. But if you want to listen to Mandip's interview, then Sasha Dewan has one, and Ace and Tegan have one. So if you want to actually check that out, and John Bishop, if that tiddles your fancy. But there you go. I mean, look, bottom line is this. They can say whatever they want in interviews. Us fans that have watched the last 5 years, right? Because apparently I'm not a Doctor Who fan, but I've watched every single episode. Have watched the last 5 years, see exactly what's going on here, right? And it's the usual spin. So yeah. So I hope you like my impersonation of Jody Whitaker, because you know, that's how I hear her when I see her on screen. That's exactly how I hear her. Seriously, even though she doesn't sound like that, that's how I hear her every time she's on the screen. Anyway, if anybody would like to come on now for the next 40 odd minutes, well, not stay on for 40, it depends how many people we get coming on. But if you'd like to come on and comment on any of those articles that are in the link description, and listen, don't come on unless you've read some of the articles or you know what I'm talking about, because it'd be a waste of time. I want people on that have actually read the articles or have listened to what I've said and would like to make a comment on any of the topics that were brought up. So I'll let Jody Whitaker now take over the rest of this stream. So I'm off now. So Miss Whitaker, it's your turn.
Okay, everybody, this is Tardis official channel, so if you'd like to come on and talk to the worst doctor of all time, I'm here. Please drop your name in the chat right now. Yes. Come on, you're burdening me already. Jesus Christ, the white male gaze. Come on! Jesus! No, I think I broke your channel as well as the show and the TARDIS door. I think you need to come back. No!
What, Miss Whitaker?
I think you need to take back over. Nobody likes me.
Yeah, don't blame them. Get the fuck. Anyway, we're back. Don't worry. Oh, I'm not letting that woman take over, or our ratings will hit the floor. Anyway, if anybody would like to come on, drop your name now. If not, we're going to be ending very shortly because I've said everything I need to say. So if anybody has any opinions on Chris Chibnall's quotes that Whittaker changed history and all of that other nonsense, or you would like to talk about the visual effects, which apparently the Radio Times have commented are the best in this episode, so the BBC didn't really give a fuck or care or try in all the other episodes. Or you could talk about the fact, this imaginary relationship, they're making such a big deal out of it, and the rumors that, she will kiss Yaz, but it'll be to wipe our memory. I mean, the disrespect towards same-sex couples from Chibnall is absolutely disgraceful, and I'll say it again. So, yeah, can I please interview Noel Whittaker in a separate stream? Ah, man, I couldn't keep that voice up for the whole fucking night. Are you joking? I'd even do my own fucking head in. So, who's coming on? Drop your names. Because if you don't drop your names, we're leaving. Oh, the fireworks. The fireworks are going off. So yeah, it's very interesting. The BBC press office have stepped it all up in the last 24 hours. So People are too frightened. No, I don't even know what you are saying. I told you that you've been here a while now. I've told you that the articles are in the link description. I've literally read out every other article before I did the last one there. The headline. So, I mean, they're all there. Go into the link description and you'll see what we're after being talking about on the stream. They're all there. You can take a brief look at the article, shoot down them, and you'll see what we're after being talking about, and then you can make a comment about it. Like, I have been talking over an hour without putting on this voice, like. Come on. Some of you are here from the beginning, so you know what I'm talking about. Do I have to remind everybody again? Because this is going to be a disaster, man. Right, I'll recap. Just bear with me now. Jesus. Good night, Tardis time. Right. So to give everybody a recap, I'll go into my own link description. So, oh, don't tell me I can't even do it in here. Are you serious? Right, well, at least we got someone who wants to come on. Right, so Doctor Who, Jody Whitaker teases Yaz and the Doctor's important final scenes together. We briefly spoke about this. This is the whole Tasman nonsense. And as I said, there is a rumour out there that the Doctor will indeed kiss Yaz, but it'll be to wipe her memory. So, if anybody would like to make a comment on that, you can make a comment on that. Or you can make a comment on the fact that Chris Chibnall said that Jody Whitaker changed the game. And she changed history. Here's another one that we briefly spoke about. Also, they're banging on about how pretty this episode looks in its visual effects. So again, apparently this has more visual effects than every past episode of the Chibnall era. So basically, they didn't try their best the last time, all of this time, but they're trying their best for the last one. And then, of course, we brought up the headline where, and it was only a little funny piss take, but Jody Whitaker apparently broke the Tardis, and I says, well, as long along with the show, as I already said, so I've sent PD his so is lots to we discussed lots. That's why we're going over an hour. You think I've been putting on that voice for over an hour? Nope, not happening. I just did it for that interview because it was funny. I wanted to just rip the piss out of both of their interviews. I don't really care what they say because everything that comes out of their mouths is nonsense. And they still continue to sprout nonsense. I mean, again, Whittaker reaffirming the crap that, you know, her female doctor made a lot of women feel like they could be the doctor. But all the male doctors did that. It didn't matter whether you are a man or a woman. Everybody wanted to be the doctor. It didn't matter what the doctor, it didn't matter that the doctor was male. The doctor connected to women just as much as the doctor connected to men. I've sent you an email. Yes, so as I said, yeah, I see everybody relaxes at Cax. I've got him under control. I've got him. I've sent him the email. Jesus Christ, not as if Lee's never been on before. Relax, calm down. Woo! He's all feisty today. Oh, Lee, get Lee on. He's coming. We already had Dr. Remove Memories with Donna. Chibnall cannot touch that. Well, Chibs will do what Chibs will. Look at, he's already robbed elements. You can even see from the trailer he's robbed other elements. And we got a $5 super chat there from the legend of the traveling Tardis there. So we leave that up on screen there. Go and check it out. Go and check it out. Just hang on. Just want to, before we bring on our first guest, just want to make sure I haven't forgotten anybody. And there he is there. So Mount Hall's in the chat. Let me see. Matt the Silent is not happy with the fact that the stream is 11 p.m. UK time. Well, they are streaming in a different country, so there is going to be a time difference. But the best thing about YouTube is you can watch after the fact. So come on. Anyway, let's bring on our two guests that are going to be joining us. Here he is. No introduction. I'm just sick of introducing people. And there's the other fella.
Hello, our lad.
Who cares? There they are there now. They're right about Moan Halls there. So here's the Moan Halls along with me. So three old Moan Halls on the stream. There you go. You couldn't ask for anything better. But anyway, guys, as I said, last 24 hours, BBC Press Office, Radio Times, they've all been coming out with articles quoting these interviews, and obviously we've heard some of Chris Chibnall and Jody Whitaker's comments. So Lee, we'll start with you, even though you didn't bother your arse to check out now and had to explain everything.
I first I was on the phone and then I heard this noise emanating from my computer. I was like, what the fuck? And I couldn't believe what I was hearing. And
oh my God, who are you saying is a noisy? You have respect for Jody Whitaker. Oh my God, you're disgraceful. White male gaze, typical.
Okay.
What are you on about?
So yeah, and then I was kind of like doubled down into fits of laughter. I can't help it. I can't read anything with my eyes crying. So
I'm sorry. Well, I'm glad you had a bit of a laugh anyway. Seriously though.
You have no idea.
All joking aside, you've obviously seen it now because you've had a quick look, but I mean, there's some of this nonsense that's coming out these last 24 hours.
It's just pandering, isn't it? It's just pandering. I mean, like, they've got a small core little fandom that clings onto them like a bunch of barnacles to the side of a rotting, sinking ship. and they're just clinging on for, you know, the final squeeze of approval that they can get from their little,
now that I have
fandoms.
you here, because I sent you this on Messenger, right? And I forgot to remind you all here, it was supposed to be part of the Doctor Who news. So there was something else that was thrown up on Twitter, which I find quite disturbing, right? And the reason why I find it quite disturbing is for the simple fact is that this particular Twitter handle has facilitated and helped in a dog pile of someone that we all know, right? And you all know who that is. She's not around at the moment, but you all know, without bringing names into it, you all know who we're talking about. This Twitter handle is now claiming that they are having direct contact with the new Doctor in Ncuti Gatwa. Now, the reason why I find this disturbing is they're trying to install themselves in now with this Doctor. And I think Ncuti should be made aware of the type of behavior and the type, the way these fans actually handle themselves. Now, they've posted this up online for everybody to see. Now, look, there is a lot of accounts out there that do claim. I remember me and Lee actually spoke about it here on the channel when fans of Tassie were trying to say that Jody Whitaker wasn't sacked, and they were talking to Mandip Gill directly, and they threw up screenshots of the supposed conversation that they were all having. But we knew then that that was all a lie, because Jody Whitaker then announced that she was actually leaving. So these
has this guy ever heard
like
of
this,
catfishing? Like,
yeah,
you know.
So what do you see? But in fairness, because I want to ask a serious question, do you think there's any truth to this? And if there was any truth to it, Lee, right? The fact that if there wasn't, okay, that just shows how sad they are, right? But if there is any truth in this, to me, I don't think it would be a wise course of action for Ncuti to be jumping in with these fans without knowing what he's jumping into.
My advice to Ncuti would be get off social media. You know, just don't engage, because we've seen this so many times. I mean, yes, in an ideal world, it would be lovely if actors and fans could interact like they used to,
human beings, civilly.
But you know, even online, you used to be able to, like when the social media first emerged and everyone was sort of discovering it and being kind of polite and nice. Remember those days? Anyway, nowadays it's not like that. Everything has to be me first. Screw you guys. Everything's about manipulating this, that, and the other. And he's clearly going to be manipulated by these people who are going to crawl up inside his bottom and tell him how wonderful he is, and then point fingers at us, go, look at them, they're evil, go there, and then warp the picture to, you know, to suit their own needs and desires, as usual, and get patted on the head by their corporate overlords at the BBC. And really, it's quite sad. I think it's sad. I mean, it's nice if it's just a friendly hello, whatever, that's fine. But
it never is.
We know that's not like that.
That's what I mean. With them, it's not. With Ncuti, it's probably innocent, and he's trying to reach out to fans. And I want to actually say, fair dues to him, right? Nobody is actually having a go at him here for interacting with fans. I'm just saying that he shouldn't be so quick without actually checking the backgrounds of some of these people
he hasn't got
that he's actually interacting with. But he hasn't got time for that.
He needs to get off social media, or if he's going to have a social media account, keep it private so he can protect himself from being
a social media manager,
or creeps stalking him and trying to get him on their side for whatever. But I mean, it's petty and childish if that is the case. But anyway, just if I was his manager or agent, I would say to him, keep it private, keep a separation there. It's all well and good doctors communicate. I mean, and just look at what happened to Peter Davison. He expressed an opinion they didn't like, and they cancelled him, and he chased him off of Twitter. So just a big warning right there.
Again, though, his words being misquoted again this week from the usual suspects
a
tried to put
surprise.
words in his mouth, and I just reminded those fans, well, remember, you fans that call for inclusivity and inclusion for all, space for all, are the ones that bullied this old doctor offline.
Disgraceful.
So practice what you preach, and then we wouldn't be having a laugh and pulling you up on you or stuff, because you are hypocrites. I mean, you are going after a man that's not even on social media now. See, this is what's happened. 6 days to go. The realization has kicked in. It should have kicked in a long time ago, but it's only kicking in now. And as I said at the start of this stream, he's going to all come out of the woodwork and come after me all of a sudden. At the end of the day, it is our last week of being able to do that, because after that, you have no power. You have no influence on this fandom. You have had no influence on what RTD does with the show. You have been silenced. You might have had these little victories during these last 5 years, but you were never going to win the ultimate one. And the fact of the matter is we're all praying that RTD would back up this female doctor with another female doctor, and he went against this. He cast a male doctor. Now, you all said you would leave if he cast a male doctor, but because he doesn't happen to be white, you are going to stick around now, and now you are going to go, and I can already predict it, you are going to go, if anybody has a problem with the writing or anything, you are going to be coming out with the racist.
Hold on, think about it this way. If RTD had cast a traditionally white male doctor and they would have gone away, and the only reason they are sticking with it is because they've cast a black man, doesn't that sound really condescending to you? That this is the I'm only staying because it's politically expedient for my
exactly.
I mean, it's just so racist.
You've hit the nail. That's what I mean.
You've
hit the nail on the head, and they are. That's the thing. PD is absolutely right.
They're the racists.
They are racist. They're the ones.
I can't be seen to leave because oh my god, a black man. Oh, panic! I must stay because
I can't because
black
I've got BLM. Bio. I've got to prove now that I'm a virtue signal twat now, and I've got to stick around, even though I didn't want to stick around because Jody is gone.
Oh, it's so pathetic. I mean, it's like these people
and that's what's even worse. And that's what's even worse. And then they're going to turn on us and call us right. Listen, I know I already have a funny feeling that RTD's writing is going to be grand anyway, so I won't have an issue with that. I'll be looking now to see how good he is at acting. And what I've seen of him, he's a good actor. So I have no worries there. Look, we're not going to, every episode, RTD didn't give us a perfect era of Doctor Who, right? It wasn't perfect. There were still some crappy episodes in there, but the majority of them were brilliant, right? And it is considered the golden era of New Who, right? We could get another golden era. I have no problem with RTD as a writer. And shoot, he's saying him. I have no doubt. I said it the other week. I feel it in my bones with this one, right? I honestly believe that this guy, even after his latest comments, I'm telling you now, this is a guy that truly cares about playing the Doctor. This is a guy that is doing the research right now, folks. As we're speaking, he's probably still, because he's been given a brief by RTD and he's following that brief. And that's what a good showrunner does. They give their potential actor or actress a brief. Chris Chibnall failed to do that.
I wonder if RTD showed him an episode of Jody Whitaker's Doctor. Probably not.
Don't do this.
It doesn't matter. Even if
wait, didn't Jodie Whittaker say? Wait. No. Didn't Jodie Whitaker say that she spent ages on the phone to Jodie giving him advice? I'm just like face palming. Oh, please God, no.
Did she start giving her acting advice? Well, I wouldn't act like that.
The advice that I'd give to Shooty is ignore everything that Jody Whittaker or Chris Chibnall have said to you. Just listen to what RTD is telling you. He will steer you in the right direction and he will sure get the best performance out of you. You're under a good man there. He will do you proud, and all you have to do now is do us and yourself proud by giving us a Doctor that we can all get behind. That's all we want, right? Now, I'm happy with the casting. I'm happy with RTD being back. So now all they have to do now is just prove that to us. And his latest comments, as I said, have convinced me that we're in safe hands with Shooty. He's doing the research.
Yeah.
He's doing the research, and that's important. And he's told fans, and he's even told fans what his favorite is, taking the piss out of Time Lash, because he would have been told by fans.
Hey, justice for
I
Time
know you're a
Lash.
fan. Well,
Don't
that's what
knock
you
it.
and Shooty have in common, actually, because you two actually bleed love that, and the rest of us hate it. So there you go.
The portal
There
of
you
Christmas
go.
Marie
decoration.
Claire
Well,
gave it a
PD
10 out of 10.
Well,
So she's
PD,
right.
just to get you in though on obviously follow up on what Lee was saying, but some of the other stuff that obviously we featured as well. I mean, talk Lee, just actually PD, just one more thing about the visuals,
Okay.
Lee. Just real quickly, just get your thoughts on the visual. So again, they're talking about how this is the most visually stunning episode, and that
That's
this
'cause they've got
episode
no
has more
story.
visuals. Has more exact. That's what I said at the start.
Mm.
So you're the same opinion. It's because they're
Of
covering
course,
up for a shit
every
story.
time they go on about how wonderful the visuals are, it means there's no substance. It's the same. And I was speaking to Jack earlier, and he said quite rightly, you know, back in the old days, Doctor Who was synonymous with bad effects but great stories. Now we have found ourselves in the inverse universe of that.
It's like with Star Trek as well, though. That's inverted.
Yeah, you're right. PD, go on anyway. If you bang on about visuals, your show's crap, says Gobby Guy. I absolutely,
I'm right.
Absolutely
Conceding.
spot on, man. Spot on. But PD, go on. And if anybody else wants to come on to give their opinions, we'll go for another half hour. I'm not going too long because I've got.
You know I'm going to clip the crap out of this video, don't you?
No, and Cheryl is
I have to delete this one afterwards.
Well, she's going to be talking to our parents in the next 15-20 minutes, so I don't want our parents.
Get me the hell out of here.
I don't want her
Book me a
parents
flight.
me shouting, doing impressions of Jody Whitaker and fucking Chris Chibnall. That won't go over too well. Anyway, there you go. Gobby is coming on. Great, that's nice to hear. I'll send it to you now, mate. It's the same. It's the same email, isn't it?
I hope it is. I've got his email. We go on Facebook.
Better be.
So yeah, I mean, what a load of bloody bollocks.
Yeah, there.
A load of nonsense.
Oh, it was a load of nonsense, wasn't it? Really?
Yeah.
It's like yeah, and then like all of a sudden you're going to turn into a man, and she's going to suddenly not like you anymore. Well, that's true love, isn't it?
But you know what? Again, right? I mean, the focusing. I've noticed, right, and it is very clever what they're doing, right? Yeah. But obviously it's not going to have the effect that they think it is. See, look at everything that's happening right now in the last 24 hours, right? And you hear the stuff that's coming out from Jodie and from Chris, and about this, and the media then with their Yaz, Tasman, that's exactly what they're doing, right? It's 6 days to go. They know that they know this is an actual train wreck.
Yeah.
And the only way that they're trying to save face, right? Because the way they look at, they're not hoping to get the same ratings as our first episode. That is not going to happen with this. And we all actually thought maybe it'd get a boost. It's not going to get much of a boost from the last one. But they're going to try everything to try get those ratings to look decent and respectable. This is all these articles and all of this pander to them. They'll all tune in by their bucket loads. But unfortunately, what they don't realise is a lot of the fandom now have actually tuned out.
Yeah. Flux is a colander.
Okay, if Series 11 wasn't the last straw for fans, right? Flux gave fans a lot of hope, right? We all had hope at the start of Flux. Remember, we did. Lee
Not really.
was suspicious.
I was very generous
and was vindicated. But you were vindicated in the end. You were generous.
The Angels episode was a good one.
But in fairness, it did start off decent. But as Lee had pointed out, looking at it, looks great and all, but there's not much substance here. And he was right. But again, he let us down, right? And then we got that fucking Dalek episode, Eve of the Daleks, right? And that was just absolutely boring. It wasn't even that bad. It wasn't even that badly written. It was just awful. It was
No, it
just
was pretty
everything
badly
about
written.
it was just awful, right?
Oh yeah. And Yaz being outed to the Doctor. You know,
Yeah.
I mean that never goes wrong in real life.
No, that goes perfect, and nobody's lives are ruined or anything like that,
Nick the
and
serial
shit.
killer.
And then we got Legend of the Sea Devils. I remember a quote from Chris Chibnall where we didn't know what to
Legend.
do with the story, so we just decided to stick the Sea Devils in.
So we just got these
So-
old costumes out of storage and just used them. Yeah.
Probably from
Yeah.
that
Taxius. Yeah.
So this last
environmental one that they were
episode,
gonna have
this
them in.
last episode
Praxeus,
is
yeah.
not
Can I get a
going
word
to do
in
as
now?
well as BBC actually think. This centenary is not. I'd be surprised. Some people have said 4, maybe 6 million. I think people are being generous there. I don't even think it will make the 6 million mark anyway. You can rule that out. 4.
I think a lot of
I
people
think
are out for
I
good
think
anyway.
4
Yeah.
Exactly.
I think 4.45 million
I don't
consolidated.
even think that. I don't even.
I
Consolidated.
think 2.8 or something.
Consolidated.
Yeah. Might be
Uh,
consolidated.
4
overnight-
million max.
Overnight,
4 million.
I think you're still looking at under 3 million. You'd be lucky if 2.8 million people tune in for this. I think anyway. Hopefully,
And the
hopefully-
only reason they would is for expecting David Tennant, I should imagine.
yeah. But see, what they won't count is the fact that nobody will watch until the end, and they'll count that because
Yeah, but
they're
they'll still
clever
count
little-
it. Yeah,
Anyway.
they'll still count.
Here's Gobby. He's here with us. So we got Gobby Guy and a new avatar. It looks like.
Yeah, of course it's a new avatar. It's
He's
my
had
new
it for a
Gobby
while.
avatar.
He's had it for a while now.
Yes, no, I mean it's the new avatar. He had the old avatar the last time he was on.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm only
yeah, I did.
commenting that it's
Yeah,
the new avatar now. Liam.
Yeah,
So
Yeah.
anyway, Gobby, welcome.
Wow, I
Yeah,
just
cover
arrived
your
and caused
arse.
an argument. That's it, arrived, caused an argument as
Hey.
soon as I arrived.
I know he's something else.
Making
isn't
an
he?
entrance, Gobby.
That's
Well, you
it.
know. Are you all diddling? You all right?
Fine.
Yeah, we're all good.
Yeah,
we're all good.
not too shabby. Not too
6
shabby.
days to go. 6 days to go. 6
6 days to go. Yeah. Not long now. Not long now. Can't wait.
Yeah.
Can't
Oh,
wait.
it's been a long journey when we think back from the
yeah.
start into
I've
Yeah, a
here.
long, arduous, bloody journey. It's like
A lot.
it's
a
like
lot's
going
changed.
to Mordor, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Going
Jeez,
to Mordor.
a lot's changed, man. A lot's changed.
Yeah,
And
it
it's not
has
all.
indeed.
Unfortunately, not all for the good, but
No.
there's been still some good in there with
No,
us anyway. Not with the show,
No,
but
no.
with us, we've had all good moments.
Oh, we've had laughs.
But yeah, I want to ask you, Gobby, on this history making nonsense from Chibnall. I mean, you're laughing. I mean, I'm laughing. I was laughing when I saw that last night. I swear, right? I was playing FIFA, right, and I got a notification, right, and I went in and I seen this thing being dropped, and I was like, I literally paused me game, right, and well. I paused my game and then I nearly fell over laughing that I actually unlocked the pause button and the game was playing and I saw that I didn't even realize because I was still there on the phone with me head into the phone. Is he taking the? Is he for real? She changed the game. How did she change? She did change the game in one aspect.
She changed a lot. She ruined it. She completely destroyed it. She just took it from 18 million down to 2. Oh, God! Please let it be over soon. Please let it be over soon.
legendary.
She made history as well. He says, but I mean, you broke history. I mean, you made history.
Her story.
No,
her story.
It's her story, sister. Her story. Don't be having that now.
Sister, come on. Her story.
Oh, fuck's sake.
Get with the
Get with the
program.
program.
Unbelievable, man. It has been. It's just these quotes, these last 24 hours have just been the funniest thing. I mean, I never knew the two of them were comedians. I mean, she's still banging on about the fact that our female doctor opened the gateway for all of these female fans. I mean, Jesus Christ,
Where are they,
Jody,
then?
open your eyes.
All of the female fans turned out in their droves to see her in person, and they all managed to fit on one stage, and they were all white.
Yeah.
All of them white.
Yeah,
And
Yep.
all of them, and all the men, or I say men, I use the term very loosely, were
Yes.
sort of put to the back. There was one person of color's face in that crowd. One.
Yeah. And by the way,
and if you look at, and that reflects the crew as well of the show.
Yeah,
all white,
which I showed on this
diversity
channel.
and inclusion.
But the interesting thing about that fan photograph that Lee talks about, right, is that if you zoom into that photograph, there are about 7 people that you can identify that have personally engaged in the harassment and abuse of people on this panel, and also female fans that are no longer, they've come back now, but the female fans they targeted as well. That's her era. When I looked at that photograph and I seen the people that were there, right, it summed up her era all in one. This era was never about inclusion, diversity, and space for all. Right? That photograph showed what it was. And then for a production team to tell the rest of us how we were all racists, well, they sure didn't take their own advice when it came to hiring for people in the background, because when I threw that photograph up, again, the whole cast and crew, most of them mostly white. So hypocrites.
Yeah, but that's the same thing with everything, though, isn't it? Let's be honest. It's the same thing with everything. You get all these white directors going, we should have more inclusivity. And you go, well, why didn't you quit your job? Well, you see, I need the money.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean?
Yeah, what we mean is diversity in front of the camera, not behind the camera. So we can't virtue signal if it's hidden behind the camera, can we? If it's not,
Ted is not happy with us.
We've upset Ted now. That's it. It's all gone.
Teddy's a racist.
Yeah, clearly.
Teddy's a racist.
It's a homophobic racist.
Oh dear me.
Ted,
hates Jews.
He thinks you're a homophobic racist. How would you feel about that?
And a misogynist.
He doesn't give a shit, Lee. He doesn't give a shit.
Well,
anyway, I mean, it is when you listen. Look, we're kind of reminiscing now because there's 6 days to go. But if you listen to all of the things that have been said over the last 5 years,
the sun shines out the ass. We get it. Yeah, amazing. Well done.
I mean, the quote. There was another quote from Stevens and Chibs.
Oh, Matt Stevens
said, they said, well, it's not a democracy. We'll write the show basically.
No, you're right. It's a fascist state.
I mean, they made it very clear that fan opinion didn't count, and that's another thing that actually must change for the new era. Fan opinion does actually count. I'm not saying
talentless.
Listen, I'm not saying that that you should listen to fans all the time, but when fans are telling you that the product that they've been following all their lives is broken, well, then you should sit up and pay attention to that, because they're the ones that know more than they do.
Best. Maybe. Just maybe.
Well, the thing is, if the fans are saying there's a problem and your viewing figures are dropping like a lead balloon, surely it's time to listen.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? If it's just the one, just people talking, that's fine. But if it's combined with a drop and a massive drop in viewing figures, then surely it is time to start paying attention and ask the question, what's going wrong?
Perhaps and remember, those Eccleston figures, right? Okay, this was in 2005. And yes, TV habits have changed. To some degree, that's true. But those numbers consolidated because, bearing in mind, there was no iPlayer back then. That was all live.
No streaming services either. Remember that.
Live.
So that's not
views.
Yeah.
So live views for leg end of the Sea Devils was 2 million.
2 million.
I mean, 2 million.
That's cool.
That's
2 million. I mean, how can a show? But seriously.
The TV habits have changed. Yeah, the TV habits have changed, but it doesn't matter. If the show is good, people will watch it. End of story.
But you see, this is where I've always had a problem with that comment. No, I'm sorry. That's a bullshit excuse to cover what's really going on.
Quality always
you are
sells.
Right. TV habits, may have changed, but if you are writing a good quality show with proper character development, story development, and all of that going on, and you're not preaching to your audience and telling your audience that they're a bunch of racist, bigots, sexist, whatever, right? People will tune in to watch that show. It doesn't matter. See, and another big problem that I have as well is that they're trying to make all of these TV shows appeal to everybody. That's the biggest mistake that you've made right there. What you should be doing is just writing the best version of the show that you can. And then if it's that good and people, word of mouth does spread, then people will watch your new show. That's what happened in 2005 when RTD took over. He was able to write a show that appealed to the older fans and brought in new fans, right? That went back then and watched the classic era, right? And they became fans of Doctor Who.
It's very simple. It's very simple. If TV companies spent less time getting their data from Twitter, they'd actually have a much better understanding of actual world views and the actual audience response. It's not found on Twitter. Twitter is skewed by activists. Okay, we happen to be aligned with the activists within these TV companies, which are sinking your companies, by the way. Like we saw G4 get sunk the other day. And that's another example right there.
Well, so, G4 deserve it.
Boy, G4.
When you make diverse programming for diverse peoples, and then the diverse peoples don't turn up to watch it, it's not a success. Gay people, black people, Asian people, whatever, are not tuning in to watch this Doctor Who because they don't like it, because the shit writing, the shit acting, and all the other shit that goes along with it. It's not inclusive if it's driving your audience away.
Yep.
That's it.
But Black History, it's such a wonderful program. We did such an awesome job. It's changed everything. They just live in a fantasy world. They really do. It's just like, how can you say that? How can you honestly look in the mirror and say that I've had a show that started at 18 million and dropped down to 2 million and we did a good job?
Exactly. And to pat yourself on the back, basically, and say, job well done.
Yeah, but we made history! We made history, guys! History!
Because history
if you were so worried about your legacy, why would you make shit? That's your legacy. If you think you're a legend and you're making history because you've made a ton of shit, and that's the only thing you'll be remembered for. If you weren't so fucking focused on making this the first this and the first that, and that's all well and good. But if you don't bolster that and make it something of value to people, it's for nothing. You can have the first Doctor of this, the first Doctor of that, and it means nothing if you make them come across as completely inept characters that absolutely do not speak to anybody other than a few people on Twitter. I mean, really?
Yeah. Probably. The Salem witch trials, that made their history as well, didn't it?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yes. And according to Chris Chibnall, according to Chris Chibnall's Doctor Who, those women were guilty of being witches, so therefore deserved to be burnt. Because they were evil witches, were they not, in that story?
Yeah.
They were evil alien witches. So, again, you're so fucking woke, Chris Chibnall, you can't even woke right.
Yeah.
Honestly.
He woke's left, mate.
So as I said earlier, though, because I do want to get you, I got Lee's opinion on it. I don't think I got Gobby's and PD's.
Oh, sure.
But obviously I mentioned that particular Twitter account who wrote, I haven't met Shooty either, but I was fortunately given his number and I am a 9-minute WhatsApp leaver. I have left him so many another thing and another thing. He's been very generous in actually replying, so he's already my favourite.
Everyone listens to her.
I'll take shit that never happened for 600, please, Steve.
And apparently apparently Jody Whitaker said that. So apparently she's on a WhatsApp group with
yeah, right.
And she keeps asking questions I mean, I found that has to be the funniest fucking thing that I've read in the last 24 hours.
You know,
I mean, they're
I've been
they're
calling the
coming out
police
with
that I'm being
whoppers.
stalked by this crazy woman. She won't leave me alone. Oh no, I took this
not.
an acting job and she keeps messaging me on WhatsApp.
I mean,
There's
it's
this
bleeding,
guy
I'm
somewhere
telling
in
you,
a
man.
basement just
It's
sending a
it's funny.
messages.
It's funny now, just looking back at all the things that have been said and what they're saying right now. I mean, listen, right? Okay, Jody, we get it, right? You're not. Look, even if you are talking to him, right, and you're asking him questions, obviously you know, playing the doctor. Well, that's not what you played, but playing the doctor, you were given the role, right? You know that he can't say anything, so I don't know why you're pretending to be all a gushy, and apparently it's your favorite doctor already. You haven't seen him in that, and how can you make that
It's
claim?
the only one she knows.
Oh man, I mean,
Oh.
you're well done.
And even
I
that's
mean,
more than she's ever watched.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's
her
true.
quotes over the last 24 hours have been funny, but I think Chibs has actually, that one alone where she said she made history and all. I think that's probably the best quote of his era that he's made.
Yeah.
It's the funniest one.
It's not the
It's
history
the
you're
funniest
thinking
one.
of, though.
She
Yeah, that
made
quote was
history.
after a bottle of Jack Daniels, probably.
He probably stole it off someone. You're right, man.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
so
He saw it
because
wrote in the back of a book.
He steals everything else, so he probably saw that on the box of Smarties or something. It was probably one of those. Oh no! Do you remember the penguin bars when you used to read the
Oh,
joke?
no.
That was the
Oh,
joke,
yeah.
but you didn't
It's
get
the
it.
lollies. Remember the lolly ice lollies? You used to have the punchline on the other side
the
of the
walls
lolly.
lollies.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Who made history?
Next week. Next week, Chris Chibnall's Chris Chibnall's tweet quote will be, "Yes, my Doctor Who brewed for 8 years in a specific type of wooden barrel." That's from the back of a bottle, isn't it, there, Chris?
Oh.
Nah, double fucking barrel. For
Yeah,
fuck's sake.
yeah.
It was a
My Doctor Who's been distilled for 8 solid years.
Yes. And it still tastes like shit.
Yeah. Well, here we are
Oh my
for the
God.
finale.
You wish
Just to
you were
let you
drunk.
all know, we are all here for the finale. We're going to be live for the watch along, so we're going to be watching it.
But
Come and
maybe
join
not
us.
live all the way through because we might die halfway along.
Yeah.
No, we'll be fine. We'll be fine. There'll be plenty of JD on hand, not Johnny Depp, Jack Daniels.
I am going to get so pissed.
Same here, man.
the only way
I'm
to
actually
cope
having
with
a drink.
Yeah.
I want to have fun for the last
I'm having a
panel.
drink as well.
So if anybody's coming on the panel, my suggestion is to bring alcohol with you.
Oh, yeah.
Bring alcohol and
Yeah, but the problem is
Party
when the regeneration
poppers.
happens, we're all going to be that pissed. We won't remember it.
we won't remember it. Yeah.
Remember the series, hopefully.
Yeah, what happened?
In fact, the last 5 years will be a blur.
and you
We
know
won't
what?
remember any of it.
Then we finish that stream, and then we come back like literally 15 minutes later, pissed out of our heads to try talk about what we just seen. It's going to be hilarious.
And then we'll do the whole stream and realise you forgot to go on live.
Yeah. Oh shit, we're still on. We're not even switched to the cameras.
Oh, dear.
So we will be here. So if anybody wants to be part of that, let me know. About a couple of people have already dropped their names. I've actually asked a couple of people as well. So we might have a few surprises that night along the way. So stay tuned from 7:15. So it's a long night because obviously we do the live watch along. That starts at it starts 7:15. We come in 15 minutes early. Then the kick off at 7:30. Then that's over at 9. And we literally have 15-minute break so everybody can get a drink or sober up. And then back on then for the live panel review. And the live panel review is going to be, I'm telling you anyway, it's going to be a laugh if happening. Because, there's going to be an awful lot of fallout after this episode. Will the timeless child nonsense be resolved? Will Tasman finally have their happy ending? Well, we know that's not going to happen. But will the Tassies be satisfied what they get? There's going to be loads to dissect.
Will John take the guy out the aisle? Yeah.
And I think the biggest talking point of the night won't be actually Jody Whitaker as regeneration. It'll be she's
Ruining
regenerating
their reputations. Yeah.
and how
that as well.
came about. I think that'll be the biggest talking point of that episode. And then, of course, we'll do all the fallout then, because we'll get the overnights on the Monday or Tuesday. They might delay them, but we'll probably get them on the Monday. And then we'll get the consolidated figures then a week later, or 28 days later, sorry. And then we'll know then how bad or good this episode actually performs.
On Comics makes a statement. I'll join the stream, but it will just be rude, sober swearing. No, it'll be rude, very drunk swearing.
He doesn't. I don't think they drink. So yeah, more. As I said, people have already dropped me their names. So just make sure that you do drop your names if you want to be on. I'll have anybody on. Remember that we have 9 spots to fill on each panel. So if we can get different people on each one, absolutely fantastic. If not, we'll try squeeze them off both panels, but we'll be doing the 2 panels, they'll be 2 full panels. The watch along one will be funny because we'll be live actually happening. And then the panel will be interested, the review panel will be interested then, because then, as I said, some of us will have a lot of alcohol intake. So I don't know how that's going to go. I'll try to be a good host, but if alcohol's involved, you know how that's going to go. It's going to be a shit show. But come and join us because it'll be a laugh. And that's the main thing, isn't it? Right now, because the world, society is shit, we laugh. And that's what we're going to do the weekend, right? It's a celebration. It's a laugh. These 5 years are finally done. Now, listen, obviously, we don't know what's coming next, right? Okay? And there is still a lot of worry out there. But for now, we can actually just celebrate and have fun with the fact that this is finally all over. This one, this nightmare is over. And hopefully we can look forward to the future, cautiously optimistic, obviously. But it's at least there's still a little bit of optimism there. Whereas before this era ended and if RTD hadn't been announced, there was no optimism at all. So at least there's a little bit. So we're going to grab onto that because, we need a bit of optimism. We need a bit of fucking joy because everything is just going to shit around us. And we refuse to be taken down by all of that. And that's the good thing about all of us and society as a whole, though, is that we get on with it. We brush ourselves down, we get on with it, and we do what we have to do, and we make our lives what we want them to be and surround ourselves with people that make us happy. And that's all that matters. That's all that matters. At the end of the day, this is a goddamn TV show that these lunatics have been fighting us over with for the past 5 years. A TV show. Right? It's insane.
People,
it's insane. If you think of these last 5 years, right, and you think of it, they've been going on like this because of a TV show. That's insane. That's insane. If this happened 20 years ago, we'd be saying that was insane behavior. Yeah. We'd be saying that these people all need medical help. They all need to go and see a psychiatrist or something, or need to talk to someone, or need to seek forgiveness off a priest. I don't know.
It wasn't a good start being told to die of cancer, really. No. That was my initiation into this insanity.
I know, yeah. I always remember that one. That one was that was cold, though. I mean, I've been called some cold stuff. I mean,
not by one person, but by a few in a group, and then chased out, blocked. I was chased out of the group, so I left the group. Then I was chased into my DMs by the owner of the group, still swearing at me and wishing me dead and to die of cancer. And then I was blocked from the group.
Yeah.
So that was my initiation into the insanity of these people, and then it went kind of downhill from there, really.
Yeah.
But then, of course, I found you, I found Gary, I found Chris, and. We found out, oh, God, I'm not alone.
Yeah.
Thank goodness for that.
I was going to ask you a question, a hard question for the panel. I have to say this is a hard question.
Ooh.
Right? It's a tough one. But try racking our brains, right? And I'm actually being serious. I'm not building all this up because this is a genuinely hard question.
Well, you kind of are.
Right? So here it is. Here's the question.
Okay.
Is there anything positive that can be taken from this era or this whole experience going forward?
Not much.
This big long answer to come along. I want to come out with something, profound and gobby.
We were struggling.
I'm not gonna be fucking PD. Not much. Is there anything? No, seriously. All joking aside, is there anything?
Yes, I realise people are
that
shit.
Is that a positive?
Well, yeah, because it's better to know than not to know, isn't it? Because at least then you know what you're dealing with.
Well,
you know what the positive is? You know what the positive is for me?
What's that?
What we've got here. This group of wonderful people. There's the positive. A group of people who've come together.
Right.
And it's okay, it's all right. Okay,
here, don't mind him, Gobby.
I'm trying to big it up here.
That's it. Go on, Gobby.
Yeah,
we'll shut up there now, Lee. I'll remove you now if you keep that up.
We've just got a group of fairly average, mentally deranged people who all have the same mental illness. No, it is. It's
no
us.
Personality.
No personality. But no, it's us. This is the best positive. A great community. What else?
Yeah.
How can we have got a community like we've got now if it wasn't for the shit that we've had to endure for 5 years?
Yeah.
There you go.
Oh, it's like the Fourth Doctor in Genesis of the Daleks. It said, well, people will come together because of the Daleks, and that's what that's what we've.
Yes,
they are the Daleks. We've all come together because of them.
Together. So that is, I think, that is the only positive that we can actually take from this era is the fact that it was so bad, and because fans were being attacked, it did bring us all together. It did. So I suppose that is well done, Gobby. Gobby got it all. I mean, that's the best answer there.
Stunning and brave.
Yep.
Stunning and brave.
Thank you, sister. Thank you.
Oh, jazz hands.
Jazz hands.
Sorry,
Jazz hands. Why am I doing jazz hands when the camera isn't on?
Me too.
I was actually jazz handing then.
Right, here is a question. So they're all talking about Jodie Whitaker's legacy as the Doctor, right? And we all know what they think our legacy is going to be, and it's all positive and it's all great. But now, without being too unkind, because of course, we could get overboard. We all have.
Well, we haven't wished anyone to die of cancer.
But,
that's
exactly.
That's
true. But what is Jodie Whitaker's legacy for you guys? What will her lasting legacy be on Doctor Who?
That we'll never have a female Doctor ever again. Hopefully.
Those derpy faces she kept pulling.
Yeah, the scrunch face. I think
scrunch face.
Entering the word scrunch into the English dictionary. Scrunch, actually.
Scrunch face. Well, I think Scottish Stavros wrestles with Fred. I fucked it up again. Sorry, Daniel.
Oh, just get it right. It's just a simple thing. Just read it off the screen.
He's not even in that chat. I'm trying to read that line. Scottish Stavros and friends wrestle with pop culture.
Yes,
I think is responsible for the whole scrunch face business.
I think
he's the one. He's the one that started that, and rightly so, because when we saw that scrunch face come up, I mean, she did it in the very first.
There was one positive. There was one
positive
with her characterization of the. She stopped wearing that fucking ridiculous bum bag.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I did like the dark jacket she wore. But
that was time. That was time.
Yeah,
because
other
time
than that,
wears clothes.
I don't think she. What's Chris Chibnall's legacy?
Fucking hell, that's a tough one.
That's
being proved wrong by Pip and Jane Baker's ghost.
Yeah, Pip and Jane Baker laughing at him.
Yeah,
forever and eternity.
There you go. He's in the chat. Scottish Stavros and friends wrestle with pop culture. There he goes. Hashtag constipated scrunch face. It was. That's the one, Daniel.
That's the one.
That's the one. Legends always live. There you go. Legends live on, Daniel. See that nearly 5 years ago you came up with that? and it's
I
still
think this
here.
also proved that not everyone, however much they want to be, can play the Doctor. And I think it really just proves that this whole narcissistic need to see yourself in absolutely fucking everything is, you know, I mean, that's what cosplay is for, darlings. Go and do some cosplay, for fuck's sake.
Yeah.
Leave us alone. And I just think it also shows that not everyone can be a showrunner either, or a writer. And it's a bit of a slap in the face, but it's a harsh reality. But that's a learning curve there, Chris, Jody, Mandip, all the rest of you. It's not everyone can do what they think they can, and maybe they should try. I don't know, working in a fishmonger's or something.
Toy fitters.
Everyone being Elster.
Working.
We don't need to. We don't even need to ask what Mandip's legacy is going to be, because like
there's always hope that she can always return to Hollyoaks.
Yeah.
I don't know. Even Hollyoaks has standards, mate.
Yeah.
I was
going to say though, you know, Big Finish. The one thing that is good about Big Finish is that, you know, characters like Yaz that are poorly developed essentially end up getting some
characters, using the word
character development in Big Finish. Now, I don't think I could actually sit there and listen to a Jody Whitaker audio, Big Finish audio now with horse.
Oh, that's going to be hilarious. Let's see how long that goes for. Yeah.
Well, she's already, to let you know, at the end of November, she's actually going with David Tennant to Comic-Con. She's going to be there.
What's the cue? Disparity.
So she's starting her conventions now, because this is why she's saying all the things that she has been saying the last 24 hours. Conventions are coming up now. Money is going to be a bit tight because she's going to find it very hard to get those acting roles that she used to get.
Well, I hope she gets a cab fare at least. You know.
So she's going to be doing these conventions, and apparently she's charged. Someone actually brought up our charges for the last one that she was at. She's up there as one of the most expensive. I mean, the arrogance.
She needs to justify a cab fare, you know.
Is there 2 for 1 with David Tennant?
No. What that means, they'll go, "Oh, have a picture with David. Would you like one with Jodie?" No, it's okay. No. You're okay. You're fine.
I hope they show pictures. I hope they show pictures of the queues, like both at the same time.
I will say, if there's anybody listening that is going to that Comic-Con,
take pictures.
If you want to actually take a few photographs and show me the queues to both doctors and send them to me, that would be absolutely fantastic, and I could showcase them.
Or even better, set up your phone, a camera, right, in somewhere nice and quiet, but stop motion. Yeah, so you can see it running throughout the day. You can see it like dwindle, like really fast. But everyone just runs out. And then we can spot all those re-queuing again, just to show, like, she's popular.
Well, here's a serious question: Can Chris Chibnall and Jody Whitaker both survive this era? Can they now, to us, or maybe to me personally, I think they damaged their career, right? That's me now. I don't know if everybody's in the same mindset as me, but I think anybody that hasn't liked this era, but looking at it, they have damaged.
I reckon her best shot is to go back to stage acting.
Well, I heard she's very good at stage act, because everybody keeps telling me that I should watch this Bleeding Play that she's in Christopher Eccleston with, because apparently our acting chops are brilliant.
Wasn't it? Was it Antigone?
Yeah, I think it's that one. Yeah, and apparently everybody keeps telling me, no, our acting was actually brilliant in that. Why didn't Chris tap into that? So I'll go and check it out, because I have checked out all the stuff she was in. Remember, I watched all the seasons of Broadchurch. Right, I watched the episode of Black Mirror that she was in. I even watched Attack the Block. She was in that. So, I mean, I knew of Jodie Whitaker before she became the Doctor. So I knew what her acting chops were like. That's why when I heard she was being the Doctor, the very first video I said, she is not up to the job.
No.
She was good in what was that TV show she did before she did Doctor? She was like a nurse.
She was one of the main leads, the nurses one. What's it called?
She was good in that. Yeah, she was good in that.
Really?
But that's the kind of thing she should be doing.
Yeah, I
Really.
mean, our level is EastEnders, Emmerdale, and that sort of stuff. You're right, absolutely. It's not Doctor Who level. I'm not taking the piss. That's what I honestly see her as. I don't see her at a higher level than that. That's just me personally.
Doctor Who requires a certain. Doctor Who requires a certain. The character, right? The actor who plays that character needs to have a certain element of not only sophistication and intellect, but also they need to have that eccentricity. Now, she's one of those people who goes, "I'm mad, me. I'm fucking mad," and they're not really mad. You know, they're just trying to look like they're mad. Yeah, I'm mad, me. No, you don't need to say you're mad if you're actually mad. Tom Baker's a fucking Fruit Loop, but he's an amazing Fruit Loop.
Absolutely,
witty Fruit,
raging one.
That's his genuine eccentricity. If you look at all of the Doctors in the past, they've all had this element of eccentricity about them, and wit and intellect. She has none of those.
No,
none of those things.
But that's because she's bad. Again, it goes back. Look. Jodie, see, this is what I hate, right? There's fans out there that want to just lay it all on Chris, right? And even the other side now,
because he's a man.
You know, they're going right, so they're laying the blame on him. But I'm sorry, right? I'm sorry, Jody Whittaker.
Women can't do any wrong. You should
Jody Whittaker is responsible for the parts that she was responsible for, and she failed in that regard. But it does hark back to Chris Chibnall. He was the one that was so adamant that the next Doctor had to be a woman. And instead of actually going for an actress that I believe had more screen presence and dominance on screen, he went for his friend. Every casting decision that he made during Series 11 was someone that he already knew, except for Tolson Cole, I think, was the exception. But he knew Bradley Walsh by working with him on Law and Order UK, and he knew Jodie Whitaker by working with her on Broadchurch. Now, here's the thing, right? He said that one. He backtracked, by the way, when he did an interview. This is the whole thing. It's all there in black and white, but these fans refuse to acknowledge the facts. The facts is that when he took the job and he did his first interview, he told everybody that his one stipulation was that he could change the gender of the Doctor. Right? Now, when channels like mine and bigger channels then start covering it, he did an interview then a few weeks later then, and he contradicted that, and he turned around and says, "Oh no, but I want to make clear, even though I had in mind a female Doctor, we did audition blokes." Right?
I never told you.
Now, if he did audition blokes,
show us the tapes.
Right?
Show us the tapes.
Why did he have to get rid of Peter Capaldi when he had one of the best actors?
Amen.
Yeah.
Right?
Amen.
So he never had any intention of casting a bloke. And these interviews now, see, Chris is a bit stupid, right? And this is the thing, he is, without even realizing it, he's let the cat out of the bag now with these interviews and these quotes. He never had any intention of keeping a male Doctor. And this is what, and even the fact that Peter Capaldi had actually come out and praised the fact that he was the new showrunner and he was looking forward to working with him. And then 3 weeks later, then he's in BBC Studios crying his eyes out, telling people he's leaving the show. And people were trying to convince us that, well, he gave it up because filming was too tired. Oh, he's an old white male, so he couldn't hack it. So he had to, all of this bullshit to try to discredit him. And then Piers Fenger then doubles down and says that Peter Capaldi wasn't universally loved.
What?
Bullshit.
Exactly.
Right? So
Peter Capaldi was thrown under the bus.
Exactly.
Lobbed under the bus
for this Doctor, right? And you know what? I'm still bitter about that, and I'll always will be bitter about that. But imagine, even I say it now, but the problem is Chris Chibnall, because even if you had an Olivia Colman, even if you had an actress that was better than Jodie Whitaker, it was still going to fail because fundamentally his scripts and his character development was god awful. And the people that he brought
she would have taken one look at that script. She would have taken one look at
Maybe that's why there's rumours she turned the role down. There's rumours she
That's
turned
why
the role
she knew
down.
shit.
She probably asked them to send her a script of the first episode. She probably read it and says, "What is this god awful monstrosity?"
Yeah, she's not stupid. She's not stupid. I mean, Jody Whitaker, let's be honest, she's nothing. She will only ever be a bit player. She'll only be a background part player. She hasn't got the acting ability to be anything else.
That's why
And-
this role was
and that's
the
why
role of a
yeah.
lifetime.
And that's and it showed. But the thing is, it showed that she didn't have the ability to be anything other than that. I mean, even in the rest,
She's got
in
no
most of the episodes,
charisma.
exactly. In most of her
Got no
episodes,
charisma.
she's actually in the background. She's,
Yeah,
Yeah.
This Doctor is the first Doctor who's actually not been in the front of the show. She's always been in the background.
you're right.
You know,
Absolutely.
and that's because that's where she's comfortable. She's comfortable being in the background of a scene, not being front and center and being that moment of attention because she just hasn't got the skill to do it.
And that's why we got so many
when she tries
companions
to-
in the TARDIS in the first place,
Exactly.
because
And when she
Chris
tries to
Chibnall knew that. And that's
Yeah.
negligence from him because
Exactly.
he knew this casting her. And he then brings in inexperienced writers on top of that, getting rid of Moffat's old crew, not even keeping any of them, just cleared now completely, thinking I'm doing it my way with my team with an inexperienced actress that has never played a major role or been center stage, and I'm going to give her this golden goose, and I'm going to. He ultimately failed her as well. It's not all her fault, but the majority of it is his.
When she comes forward. Look at when she comes forward in any scene, and she has to be cross or angry or show some fierce quality. Like if you look at any other Doctor when they've lost their temper or when they've been angry, you really feel that. There's not one moment in any of her performances where you think, "Oh crikey, that's."
I disagree. I actually disagree. There is actually one.
Thousand-year-old Time Lord. I'm sorry.
No, but there is one scene. There is one scene in the episode. I can't think what episode it was, but when I describe it, you will know.
Think of it.
But there was one actual scene where, for a split second, I thought to myself, "Well, if she acted like this all the time, she could actually pull it off." But it was the scene where she comes out of the TARDIS. The TARDIS is in space, and she looks at Gallifrey destroyed. And you look at her face, and for once, I was convinced.
She can do a crying mum face. I mean, really?
Yeah, but that's what she does.
You know that.
But it doesn't matter. It worked for that scene. You did say there was none. I think there is one, and it's that scene. I think that scene.
No, I mean aggression.
I think her Doctor would have worked if he had a. Listen, I think her Doctor would have worked personally. Right, she still would have been not the right actress, but I think Chris could have got the best out of her if he had tapped into the emotional side of Whittaker, because that's where she does her best work, is the emotional side of it. So when she did look out at the out of the TARDIS and saw Gallifrey destroyed, yeah, you're right. She could have played it angry, but she decided to play it the other way, play it sad, and she did convince me.
Yeah, but that's what she's good at. I mean, that's what she's saying. The whole of Broadchurch was her being sad.
Yeah,
that was it. That is the level.
That was it. I'm just being moany.
She's good at sad. She's good at sad, and she's good at crying. Other than that, nothing else.
And she's good at playing.
Every other Doctor has had the I'm a Time Lord, that big speech. And the fury. You look at Tennant's eyes. You look at Tom Baker's fury. You're like, what's it for?
Yeah, she never had one. She never had a speech like that. You're right.
Imagine Jodie doing the speech that David Tennant does when Wilfred Mott's in the cell. When I should have had more time.
Yeah,
she would never be able to deliver that speech.
Or the speech in 11th hour.
About her, that's for sure.
Or the Peter, any of Peter Capaldi's speeches.
Yeah,
because she. To be the Doctor, you have to command the screen. You have to portray somebody who's had multiple personalities, and she just never did that. And that's because it was that level above her ability. And I feel sorry for her because she struggled, and they knew she was struggling. And as you quite rightly said, that's why there was loads of companions. That's why she was in the background of her own stories a lot of the time, because she was struggling. It was just pure and simple. You could see it. You could see that she was struggling. And
So Flux was even worse,
been
Gabby.
put in that
Flux
position.
was worse.
Absolute. Flux was. You can't put somebody. For a good storyline like Flux, you need power, you need emotion, you need feeling, you need to have the impression that the Doctor's back is really genuinely up against
it. Yeah,
and it never ever showed that. I mean, they said, she shows emotion of the Doctor. There is no emotion to her Doctor whatsoever. She played the Doctor as a cosplay role. And just generally, you could see it sometimes. She was out of her depth, and that's Chris Chibnall's fault for carrying on, letting her battle on like that when it was obvious that she was struggling in the role.
He should have put her in that position in the first place.
JFO says it right.
Shouldn't have.
JFO says in there, I'm sorry to say this, but I think her accent is a big part of it also. It's so strong, it's hard to take it seriously. I mean, can you imagine if the Doctor came out with a Somerset accent and go, some Daleks, really?
I'd just like to apologise to the audience for the badly impersonated Jody Whitaker impression that I did earlier on and Chris Chibnall one.
Oh, I'm so
I do want to actually apologise.
No, don't.
Panel's poor accents. I'm only fucking messing right at the end.
If you didn't
Never
like me impersonation, you
it's just. But the thing is, Christopher Eccleston did a northern accent great. Christopher Eccleston's Doctor was great. Her Doctor was a whiny, annoying, grating voice.
Here's the question I've always asked. But here's the question I've always asked. Is the reason why Jodie Whittaker didn't change her accent is because she actually can't?
She said that. She's actually said that. She actually said that she doesn't change her accent. Do apologise.
Well, yeah.
I know it was an accident, but she doesn't change her accent because it's hard to do that.
Wow.
And
she's an actor.
And she's supposed to be an actor.
Well, is she classically trained? Because all the J-bots came at me that she went to this acting school and she got all her degrees and all of this, and she's a classically
If she went
trained.
to fucking RADA, then she would have had to have learned how to do accents. As simple as that.
Go on YouTube.
If you're a properly trained actor.
No, you go on YouTube and you look at her performances. She sounds the same in literally everything.
Yeah.
She is the poor man Sean Connery.
One note.
She has the same accent no matter what role she's playing. I'm sorry, Sean. I'm sorry, Sean Connery. I do apologise, Matt.
Wow.
But it's true. She does the same accent in everything she does. I mean, let's be honest. I never knew David Tennant was Scottish.
Damn Spotty!
Neither did I.
I didn't know David Tennant was Scottish until he actually did an interview. I think it was on Ground. And I was like, "Whoa, the dude's Scottish!"
Yeah,
that is
and
the
he was pulling off an English accent.
Class actor,
and that's why he loved. That's why he loved doing the werewolf episode. What was that called again?
I've had some
Thingy blood, wasn't it?
Something like that. I don't know. Someone will know. Somebody.
Yeah, that was the episode. That was the episode that he got to do the Scottish accent in, and he said that was the most fun that he had because
it's natural. It's natural
to him. Yeah. And I understood him. I was kind of a bit annoyed then that we didn't get David Tennant with a Scottish accent.
I mean,
I think you will with the new one. I reckon he's going to because he's wearing tartan. Yes. Remember, I wouldn't be surprised if he comes back as a Scot again.
Oh, Ted doesn't like that either.
Tooth and claw.
No, doesn't like tartan. Don't mention tartan.
Yeah, I think he will speak Scottish. I think that's a good point you've made there. Ted, did you see the other doggies? Get away from the window. Go on.
Personally, I think he should speak with the Brummie accent like they do in Peaky Blinders. I think that would be even better. That's just me.
You shut up, you. Shut up, you.
Shut up, you. By order of the
Doctor. Right, I'm the Doctor.
Right on the
the doctor,
No, that's black country. Will you please stop it? That's black country, not Brummy.
It's the same fucking accent! It is!
Sorry,
No one can tell the goddamn difference!
If Dad had to come in and speak perfect English.
If Stewie uses a Scottish accent,
Oh, my
I think
accent's
that's a
slightly
clever
different
move.
from them up the road over there. Fuck off!
Well, I think we should all speak Queen's English from now on, jolly old chap. Yes, tell you
Yeah,
how.
absolutely.
I
missed that. I missed that.
Yeah, I
do
miss
miss
it as
that.
well. I really do. We're all down to accents now.
I do miss the posh.
Everything has to
people,
be fucking regional, doesn't it?
programs.
Everything.
I
Yes,
know.
everything. Yes, whatever happened to
And
the
that, and
good
then
old-fashioned-
by doing that, you lower the standard of the
Yeah.
Middle English. You lower the standard because everything becomes slang.
Yeah.
I was watching
exactly.
a fucking advert the other day, and it was bruv this and bro that. And I was like, what the
Oh,
fuck?
Ini Brad, ini do, Brad, ini do, Brad.
Sick of it.
Brad,
Stop it.
oh, stop it, please. Speak English.
just do a fucking. It's an ad. Just do the fucking ad. You just don't need the fucking ad. I mean, for fuck's sake, they've lost the plot, man.
Yeah.
It's just a fucking ad. Even for Heinz baked beans now, they'll have this big flashy ad with bleeding every culture you can think of. It's
Yeah.
Victor beans.
Like color
It's just
Benetton,
beans.
yeah.
It's just
They're
a tin of
beans.
bloody beans.
They're so
And don't
big.
It's just beans. It's just beans. You don't need to. Oh, and that's
Yeah,
for tomato
big 'em
soup.
up beans, like you know. But stop wasting your money on all these celebrities and just fucking put posters up beans
Yeah,
everywhere. Yes,
Yeah,
idiots.
remember when we
Eat the
used to
beans.
advertise with posters? Buy our beans, they taste nice.
That's
There you
it.
go, that'll do.
Back in the day, it was a simple message, but everybody did. You had your favorite tin of beans. Like,
Beans, beans, Heinz. Boom, done.
Yeah,
Off you
beans,
go.
beans,
Yeah.
Heinz. There you go. Done.
They were great
Finished
ads.
Advert gone. All over.
Oh, Bisto. There you are. That's it.
Yeah.
What was the one? Hands that do dishes feel as soft as your face with mild green.
Green,
Very
very
liquid.
liquid.
Oh,
Liquid,
licking.
yeah.
Yes,
Oh,
yes,
sorry.
yes, I'm going to buy that.
Then they changed the Babe Fairy Baby to this butch fucking
yeah. I'm going to
rocker
clean all
thing.
bloody dishes,
Yeah,
I am.
yeah, yeah.
If
Then
all
they-
dishes in the dishwasher, I'm going to bloody clean them.
Yeah, they changed it now. It's gone back to it's gone back to the proper fairy baby now because they knew they fucked her up. But they've even done the same
Bring
with
back the
bleeding
Smash
Captain
aliens.
Birdseye fish fingers.
Robot.
They've
Oh,
even
yeah.
changed that as well. Captain Birdseye fish fingers.
Well, I don't know, because I think the new Captain Birdseye really does make him look like a paedophile when he's on the ship. With all that. The captain knows best. I bet he does as well.
Where's
dear
Master
me.
Bates?
Master Bates, yes, that was Captain Pugwash.
He wasn't
Show
taking
them.
below deck and show him his stride a torpedo.
Yes, exactly.
Talk.
This
I
one
can't
was
think of
okay,
the name of the channel, but there's this great YouTube channel that puts up all the old TV ads from the 70s and the 80s. And I tell you, some of them, looking back at them, fucking brilliant, man. They
oh,
were
yeah.
brilliant. Ads
Do the
back-
shake and back to put the freshness back.
Do the shake and back, you put the freshness back.
when your camera smells fresh,
You clean the stew.
Remember the Hamlet adverts? Dong.
Yeah, the Hamlet adverts. They were all. Oh. And the Lensip. My favorite were the Lensip ads, especially around the Christmas time. No, winter time. Sorry, you used to have the Lensip ads with the lemons and the snow and the copper.
Oh,
Lensip
white
with the red nose.
lemonade. Oh,
Yeah,
white.
I'm a secret
Oh,
lemonade drinker. Oh, white.
Drinker. Oh, white.
My God, how old are we?
Yeah.
Younger
No,
than
no.
I think I look.
Now it'd be, buy our white lemonade, or I'm going to smash your face in. In it, bruv.
Yeah.
Oh, do you remember the the tangoed? You got tangoed.
Oh, the
That was
bloke you
fast.
slap you.
Go
They got
Tan,
into
go
trouble.
Tan, go
They
Tan.
actually got into trouble for those ads because they were going around slapping people
Yeah,
in the face.
we
I
had-
still got my Gotan doll. I still got my Gotan doll somewhere.
Yeah,
Oh,
I got to go Tandal somewhere. But no, I remember that at school. We had an assembly. Can everybody please stop slapping each other because you haven't been tango? You're like, you've been tango.
Ezra wants us to get back to Trash and Jody. He's
Oh,
been
I'm
very
sorry. I'm
vocal
sorry.
about it.
I'm sorry.
Hey,
Well,
hey.
actually, okay. Actually, Jodie wasn't raised as a typical girl. Did you know that Jody Whitaker was raised gender neutral?
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Well, that's what she said in an interview a few months back.
She was a tomboy.
But she wasn't actually gender neutral. See, what it was we were all in the same position. We couldn't afford all clothes. Our parents couldn't afford to buy us all toys, so we had to share shit.
No, she grew up like a normal child that didn't have a lot of money. We all were there. We've all been there. You know what I mean? Gender neutral now. It's just jump on another bloody bandwagon.
That's it, man. It wasn't. That's what I'm saying. Our parents
anything gender neutral back then would have been toilets. You know, there wasn't really a term. You know, it's just nonsense. Stop it.
No one cared.
Grow up, for fuck's sake.
No one cared. Everybody just grew up with their lives and did what made them feel happy.
You're in your mid-40s or early 40s or late 30s. I can't remember how old you are. I don't give a shit. But like, come on, love. Stop acting like a teenager. It's embarrassing.
Yep. Amen.
Actually, some of the highlights of the Jody Whitaker era, because we do have some funny highlights. So one of the highlights was when she did the breaking of the glass ceiling video.
Oh, that
was one of my personal favorites. And
shame none of that
the stylist video where she mocked fans. That's another one of my favorites. But I think the one that tops all of that is where she decided to take her hand at singing and butcher Yellow.
Oh yeah,
and that's going some. That used to be.
I hate that band.
I hate that band. They're bad enough as it is, but for
it was for children. It was for children in need,
as I call them.
And I was just thinking about children were in need. They needed new hearing aids. They needed new hearing aids after hearing Jody Whitaker sing Yellow. But I will say this, I have listened to it a few times over the past few months.
You can tell that Jodie went back as the Doctor. She went back to visit Van Gogh and she sang Yellow at him. That's why he cut his ear off.
Was that before she also then threw a tin of tomato soup over him as a protest to stop the oil?
Yeah.
But
she should have gone and thrown it over a bunch of Jody Whitaker dolls that didn't sell because they're going to end up in landfill.
Right, here's the thing. So I did a video called The Cool Kids of 2022.
I noticed. I saw it.
But the Guardian newspaper decided that they didn't like my commentary. So they have blocked it worldwide. So I've had to remove it, unfortunately. But I thought it was funny. I even did a thing about the tomato soup people where I said they were there to protest.
Have you seen the discrimination. Have you seen the new one? You seen the new one with those two idiots strapped themselves to the top of a bridge?
Oh, for God's sake!
Oh dear.
And they went,
leave them there. Leave them there.
We're going to stay here until they stop the oil. You're 40 feet up. No one can see you. Sit there with your light, mate.
You know what the thing about it is that they don't realise that the disruptions are actually probably polluting more than what they actually.
What do they think they become when they die? Oil.
Eventually we'll all become oil. We're all dead.
It's like a dinosaur.
I mean, their hypocrisy, it's actually stupid because we need certain things that bring life-saving stuff.
Yeah,
they don't realise that we need all of these things. Yeah, listen, stopping the
It's amazing they've all got fucking smartphones. Amazing they've all got
smartphones. They're able to record their videos on smartphones. Yeah, how did they get recycled? Does your phone get recycled? Because the majority of them can't be recycled.
Yeah, the best one is the best argument I've ever had with someone on Stop All who said, so you just want, eco-friendly. And he went, yeah. Said, so what do the gears in the windmills have to use to keep them lubricated when they're producing that green energy? Oh, yeah, that's right, oil. So what are you going to do now?
Yeah,
there you go.
How do they clean them up?
Yeah, well, and those windmills are killing wildlife. They're killing loads of rare birds, owls getting caught up in these things. Getting and of course, when they get caught on fire because they catch on fire, and they actually take more energy because there's not enough wind, so they have to put energy into them to keep them spinning around. So they actually cost more.
Oh, but
then they catch fire and kill people.
There's actually a wind minimum and a wind maximum. So when it's a bit too breezy, you can't run them, and if it's not breezy enough, you can't run them. So that's just
and you've seen them in the high winds. They fall over and they crash into things.
Yeah, and a lot of those wind farms, by the way, those propeller blades that they make are not recyclable. So what do they do? They bury them underground.
Yeah, because that's
and electric car batteries are
Can't be
toxic.
recycled.
They don't.
No.
You can't recycle them, and not only that, but the actual mining for the minerals to make those things are incredibly toxic.
And done by
And
children.
people who are mining
and
for
done by
those
children.
things, are
done by
dying of
children.
horrible lung diseases and all sorts of illnesses. So fuck you.
It's all hypocritical. It's all
Oh, you know how they get those wind turbines spinning again in winter? They use flamethrowers.
That sounds like a good idea.
I remember this climate
bigger
nonsense
ones.
has been around for years, right? But they were a small little group, right? But then this 16-year-old girl or 15-year-old girl decides to go and says, "How dare you? How dare you?"
Hey, Greta,
Right?
go back
Yeah.
to school and learn
And
something.
then it exploded
Saint
into this
Greta,
thing that
yeah.
we see today. So Greta,
Saint
you're
Greta.
responsible, and your parents are responsible for brainwashing you. But you're also responsible.
And how
for
many kids?
criminal damage?
How many kids?
Criminal damage.
How many kids? How many kids take
what?
their own lives due to fear of the planet? There are so many reports of young kids topping themselves because they're so scared that the end of the planet is coming. And RTD, in his wonderful wisdom, is deciding that he's going to knuckle down and write some wonderful propaganda about climate change. Because we need to know again for another year and another year and another year that climate change is happening and we're all going to die. I mean, really, this is
We're
a
not
kids
going to die.
show.
Climate
It's a
change is
family
happening.
show.
But we're
It should be
absolutely not
entertainment,
responsible for
fun
it.
adventures in time and space, not
40
fucking lectures.
years.
We've done 5 fucking years of lectures now. Can we stop,
Yeah.
please?
40 years he's been going.
End of.
40 years they're going to tell us we've been dying from global warming. Still here. Funny that.
Yeah,
Yep.
every other 3 years, it's 12 years until the end of the world, and then.
By the way,
12
we're
years is
supposed
up,
to be all
nothing's happened.
underwater because in 1989, the UN said that certain cities would be flooded and underwater. And the biggest example was obviously the Netherlands because they're below sea level. But yeah, country's still there. It's not flooded.
The entire ice shelf of the Antarctic would have to melt from the land into the sea.
Yep.
Now, ice that's floating in the sea, if you know anything about bloody physics, right? If you put an ice cube into a full glass of water and it melts, it doesn't change the volume of water because it's already there. So all sea ice is already calculated into the sea, right? It's if the land ice melts into the sea, that's when you need to start thinking about things probably. But that is not happening because that is so cold. That's not going to happen anytime soon.
Yeah,
and it's just I'm sick. If this was settled science, why is it then so many actual scientists, climate scientists, and all these others who dissent and go against this message are barred from entering any of these meetings at the UN or wherever it is
the good old one.
by armed guard?
Money, money, money. It must be
Correct.
funny in a rich
that's what
man's
it
world
boils down
because
to.
that's what it's all about at the
All
end
about
of the day. Fucking
So
money,
shove it. I'm not
money,
interested.
money. Leonardo DiCaprio going
Blasting
around
his
preaching
money.
to the
Climate
world about
changes.
it, and he's flying
Everything
these private
changes.
jets. Al Gore the same, flying these private jets.
pig.
When
We are more
likely
likely
to be up. They're all driving their big fucking petrol guzzled fucking cars and flying the aeroplanes. They're
Yeah, do you
all
think Chris
hypocrites.
Chibnall and Jody Whitaker worried about the planet when they travelled
When they went
to
to South
South
Africa.
Africa in a plane?
Yeah.
Twice.
And
Twice.
you know, and not only that, it's these people just talk about this like it's the gospel, and it's like, well, you do realize they're opposing views, but no, you don't, because it's dissent, but you won't listen to it because it's suppressed. Why is it suppressed? Why don't you follow the money?
We are.
And
There's
it's
a simple
just
solution.
ongoing.
Yeah.
There's a
It's
simple
all
Like
Always
climate
about the
changes,
money.
everything changes, right?
Yeah.
That's a given.
There is
Listen,
simple
scientists.
We're more likely
Cycles.
we're more likely to suffer a micro supernova from the sun than anything else. We're more likely to experience a new ice age because of the events that are happening on the sun. But no one's factoring that in to the conversation. And
That's
a
what it
big
is.
mistake.
It's got to do with the sun, right? Climate. We do not make an impact on the climate, right? The difference is the last time the climate changed, there wasn't humans on the planet. We're here now. The climate is going to change now, and it is in the process of changing. Yes, you can definitely see that it is, but we're not responsible for it. No solar panels, no wind farms, none of all of these measures that these people want us to take is going to change the fact that this climate is going to change either way.
99% of all greenhouse gas, carbon dioxide, comes from the oceans. What are you going to do? Ban oceans? It's retarded. The CO2 that we produce, and CO2 is a plant food, right? It's a plant food. When we had
which is why the
huge increase in CO2 in the history back in the age of giantism with plants and fauna, that's we had huge plants. Why? Because we had an increase in CO2.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
So the CO2 that we produce, that we as a population, as a people, produce 10 times less than termites, less than all the insects. We produce 1 part in 14 million in terms of greenhouse gases.
There you go.
That's nothing compared to the ocean, which is 90 over. I'd say 99. Okay, let's say 98. Be conservative. 98%. It comes from the oceans. The oceans swallows up all that CO2, then releases.
Got a great plan here. I've got a plan. If all you eco warriors are listening, you have a new enemy, the ocean. I can tell you what to do.
Hashtag ban the ocean.
You all get on boats, right? No
go do what Caligula did. Go and stand at the ocean and wave
your
sword.
You can go out there, which is our placards, right? And you can protest against the ocean. All right.
The thing
go
is,
typically yourself to the ocean floor. Don't do that.
But the thing is, when it comes to it, if the ocean levels are going to rise, why do all the rich people own oceanfront property?
Exactly.
Yeah. Exactly. I mean, hello, idiots.
Look at President Obama's. Look at ex-President Obama's new home. It's right up at the beachfront.
And why are they ignoring the fact that NASA have released now for 4 years running that the planet is actually getting greener because more plants are growing because they're eating the CO2 that's supposed to be killing us.
And do you know another thing that they also do every year, every summer? They look at the Antarctic and go, look, it's melting. And then ignore the North Pole. And then when it's winter, they go, oh, look at the North Pole, it's melting, but ignore the Antarctic because the ice is growing back. It's so cynical. It's unreal.
Hold on. Sorry. Watch Frozen Planet 2 because literally David Attenborough is there and I thought he's going to bang on about climate change and I know. But even in the very first episode, he talks about the shield of ice. He talks about the ice on the land. Right, and that was the funny thing. He goes, even in places that are remote in the world, not an Antarctic or the North Pole, whatever, South Pole, whatever, which one I get confused with the two of them. Right, anyway, one's North, one's South. Anyway, there's other regions, high mountain peaks all around the world, full of snow, and this is what Frozen Planet 2 is all about. So if the planet is really heating up, as they're all suggesting, well, then shouldn't all of these places be losing the ice?
Well,
now, I know certain places have.
We are overdue an ice age.
Yeah.
If you look at the historical records of ice core samples, all these samples, all the records that have ever been kept, all these things and fossil records, you name it, geological records, all point to the fact that we are long overdue an ice age. And we are preparing for global warming when what we really should be doing is making sure that all the seeds, I mean, we know that there are seeds being held in like the north, in the polar regions, you know, by their
Finland,
But we should be preparing for a huge.
So are we looking at a day out? We're looking at a day after tomorrow scenario.
Yep.
Over an amount of time, obviously not like the way the movie did it in 7 days, but we're looking at it over, say, the next 70, 80 years, maybe. That's slowly going that way, the climate, because as Gobby said as well, the indication and the facts actually show as well from NASA. See, NASA is a big part of this, and the reason why they're silent is because they're getting money, so they'll shut up, right?
In England,
But-
in the
but
medieval
globe
age,
is actually cooling. We're actually cooling
it is.
right now. We're not
in the
warming
medieval
up
period,
now.
there was a period of warming
the Ice
hotter than
Age?
it is today. Was that down to their SUVs? No.
Thy SUV.
That's
Carbon
the thing.
dioxide is your enemy.
Do you know what I hate is
Carbon
the manipulation?
monoxide is your enemy. Carbon
Yeah, but-
monoxide
Do you know what my
and methane. These are problems.
Yeah.
You know, that's
Do you know what?
problems
Do
you
you
need
know
to
what?
look at.
Do you know what I love now? You look at the weather now, right? And you look at the weather when we were growing up, right? And now all the charts are red and orange now, with the same temperatures that we had back in the day, and they were yellow and
We didn't even
bright
have that.
orange.
It was just the sun. It was just the sun, and they went, it's going to be a bit warm. It's going to be a bit
Yeah.
warm today.
Yeah, now it's
Yeah.
like,
Now it's
okay.
you're all going to die.
massive
We're all
heat
going
wave,
to
we're all
die.
gonna
That's
die.
it.
Things are melting
The
all
sun
over the
is-
place.
The sun is the driver of weather
Of course
and
it is.
climate on
What
this
does that
planet.
mean?
It's the
What does that mean?
only driver.
Exactly.
The
We've
only-
nothing to do with it.
What we are
Nothing.
doing is nothing compared
If
to what
that,
the
we're
sun
probably
and
making the
oceans are doing in
situation
planet.
worse by not doing
You're
the
not
opposite
doing
of what
fuck
we're
all.
supposed to be doing.
Nothing we do will change it. It's such a
okay.
tiny percentage.
Well, in fairness,
like
we
less
did
than
we
the
did
percentage.
the ozone layer. There was a hole in the ozone layer, and that's not there anymore. So we did actually make a change, and we did make a difference.
No. That ozone layer is like you know, in your heart you have a aorta, or the aorta. Whatever it's called, the aorta.
The
Right,
aorta. Yeah.
Opens and closes.
My
It's a bit
aorta.
like your sphincter, right?
What,
Opens
what?
and closes. That's what the ozone layer does. It opens and it closes. It opens.
Yeah, but wasn't
This
that
will be a
because we were
cyclical thing
using
like
the spray
everything else.
cans that were using the CFC
CFCs,
gases?
yeah.
Wasn't the CFC is not bad though, and it was actually causing
So
damage
you're
to the
saying all
ozone.
the CFCs in all the world travel to the North Pole, even from the
just
southern
conveniently.
pole.
So
Yeah.
somebody in
No,
Brazil.
I'm not.
You
I'm
do
not,
realize
obviously, I'm not, obviously, I'm not saying
in
that.
the southern hemisphere.
So
the
you're
southern
telling me that we were lying. So hold on, you're telling
The
me we were
southern
lying about that
hemisphere.
as well.
No, listen. The weather system in the southern hemisphere has nothing at all to do with the northern hemisphere. It's a totally separate system. So
Correct.
there is no hole in the ozone in the south. What's that? There's a big one in the
But
north.
if there's but hold
don't talk about
on,
it
if
'cause
there's
it's healed
wind,
up.
but if there's wind
Or it's
curtains
gone,
that
or it'll come back.
occur naturally on a planet, would the curtains not head towards the north, as you
Nope.
say? They don't. Would that
Nope.
not happen?
No,
No,
the
if there's
wind goes
wind
in
currents.
different directions. The wind goes in different directions.
Yeah, I
Different
don't. I
directions.
do know
Yeah.
that they don't
They
all
won't
go
go- they won't
parallel.
go
They
north.
all go in different directions. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
it
know
won't go
that.
north.
But
Causes
they're
the
not.
jet stream, the Gulf Stream, do we?
No.
They don't mix. They do not
Exactly.
mix.
Anyway,
Well, in
yeah.
any case, back to Jody.
Yeah, back to I don't know. Yeah,
Yeah,
but
Mark,
again,
we'll make
this
it
is
pop, yeah.
relevant to Jody Whittaker's era because this is what they've been like.
Yeah.
I mean, look, at the end of the day, right? I watch my
Don't
programs
produce plastic
to not,
toys that don't
to not
sell.
be
That end up in
listening to
Local
that.
and lecture us about climate
As I
change.
said, David Attenborough, right? He's doing Frozen Planet 2, right? If he wants to talk about climate change while he's doing that show, then I will watch that show, and that's where I should
And
get
then
the
the
information
Yeah, he
from.
thinks
Sci-fi
humans are a
shows
virus in
like Doctor
shoes.
Who,
So
Star Trek,
Yeah.
and
Which is true.
franchises like Star Wars shouldn't be used as a platform for these type of things. Now, we do know that classic shows have, at the time and the day, there's been some cause that they've commented on or done social commentary on. That's the
Of
difference.
course I have. Of course
Right?
I have.
Social commentary is different than preaching to an audience like they have with this fandom, with Orphan 55 and all of those other episodes that they wanted to preach was about climate change. We don't watch Doctor Who for that. We watch Doctor Who for escapism because we hear enough of that
Yeah.
on the news and in all of these other shows that when we watch Doctor Who, all we want to do is to be entertained. And I will say this. We have seen, going back to this climate because of these eco warriors, but we have seen recently that these people are not going to be reasoned with, right? And I do think it is, and I
It's a
would
cult,
urge
death cult.
RTD, I think this is the biggest miscalculation of his new era with Shooty if he's going to make climate change front and center. Now, we know he'll do it respectfully and he won't hammer the message across, but that's not the point. He has to look at the public perception of these people now and what damage they're doing to society. And right now, the public opinion against these eco warriors or climate change warriors or whatever you want to call them is turning against them. We're seeing videos of drivers getting out of their cars, dragging these people out of the way. We've seen the lengths that these people will actually go to try get their message across. Now, thanks be to God, Vincent van Gogh's painting and all of those other paintings that they've thrown stuff over have been protected and have protecting coverings over them. But the fact that they're willing to go into an art gallery and do that is a very scary thing indeed, because how far are these kids willing to go before they believe that people are going to sit up and take notice of them? And this is the worst thing about a cult like this, because that's exactly what it is. It's a cult, and they're being led by people, adults that are facilitating this because they want to put money in their pockets, and it's absolutely shameful. But I think this would be the biggest miscalculation. He has to look at the public opinion, and public opinion right now is against these people and is against this topic for being talked about right now. It's a raw topic right now. People don't want to hear it because these people are making it worse, right? So I think it'd be absolutely bad for RTD to do this. So I hope he's looking at this very carefully. Maybe public opinion in the next couple of months, a year or so will change. I doubt it very much, because I don't think these kids are going to stop, and I think their tactics are going to get worse, right? These kids are so stupid that they're willing to throw soup, throw shit over memorials, deface buildings, right, and super glue their hands and their faces to footpaths, roads, and fucking arts of work. It's going to get worse, folks, because they know that message is not being listened to. So for someone to get their message listened to, they need to go more extreme. And they keep getting extreme and extreme before we get to a point where we cannot control them. Right? Right now, we can still, like, enough is a fucking enough of this bullshit. Go and get a job. Go and have a bath and wash yourselves, because half of you look like you've had a bath in months. Right? Okay? And go and get a job or educate your fucking self properly on the climate and stop disrupting people's lives. And same with these vegan lunatics now, stopping people from buying milk, cheese, and all of this other shit, right? But they're not actually, they're just sitting there, so just step over them. But still, enough is a fucking enough, right? These people disrupting their lives and trying to dictate to us, right? Well, I think we haven't done so bad on this fucking planet that these kids think that they could come in now and say, well, you have fucked it up. Well, we've got here. We've gotten here so far all right, until you radical left nutcases took over. And now look at all hell's broke loose. Right? So it's at least our generation and generations before actually had a handle on fucking things. We fought 2 fucking World Wars II to bring about peace around the fucking world, to end the discrimination. And now we're seeing the opposite happening right now today. We're going back in time. Today's fucking society is going back in fucking time. We're going backwards as a society. We're not moving forward. We're not striving to be better.
Yeah.
Right? We won't achieve anything if this continues. The human race will stagnate. So it's important. These people, look, we need to be more vocal. These people need to be called out when they overstep the line and trying to destroy arts of fucking work. And using tomato fucking soup, I don't know what fucking logic they fucking have. I seen another video that they didn't post up because it's too distressing. But a woman kneeling down on the fucking ground and some bloke is pouring oil down her throat. Proper dark black fucking oil down her throat. She's drinking fucking oil.
Well, she'll be in the hospital. That's her own fault.
Yep.
But I mean, to go back onto that, you know, the thing that Russell T Davies was talking about when he's talking about the environment and things like that. If you watch the actual thing, that's not actually what he's saying. What he's saying is, whereas back in 2005 when he first did it, he could just put a message over, and because obviously social media didn't exist as such there, what he's saying now is, when we tackle something, we have to be careful because people will automatically react to what we're going to do.
Yeah.
So we have to not treat them stupid, because if we do, the first thing they'll do is jump on our backs.
Yeah.
And that's what he wasn't saying, I'm going to give you environmental stories. What he was saying is, and he's shown an awareness, I think, personally, you have to listen to the interview a couple of times, that he knows that the second he does something on the show now, it's going to be on Twitter.
Yeah, it's going to be hyper. Yeah, it's going to be hyper focused on.
Yeah, exactly. So I think what he was actually saying was not that. I think that's been taken as that, and it isn't. What he's saying is, and he's showing that he's aware that if he says something or does something that's potentially problematic on the show, it is going to be instantly reacted upon. So he's going to show awareness when he's writing that could happen.
Well, that's good. That's actually positive. Yes.
When you read it in a text on, as the message is, if you read it as with everything else, you read it with your viewpoint. But when you listen to what he's saying, he's actually saying, "I'm now aware that the show isn't what it was in 2005. As soon as we do something, we are going to get an instant kickback on Twitter, so I'm going to be aware of that when I'm writing the show."
Well, then that's a different story altogether.
Which has changed my viewpoint on Russell. It shows that he's actually quite au fait with what's going to happen and very aware. And I'm hoping that he's now going to use that when he writes stuff and understand that he has to be careful what he does, because he will get an instant kickback.
Well, then that's good. So, that's good. Shows he cares as well, and he has
he's paying attention.
Yeah, he's paying attention, and he has his finger on the pulse. That's what we want, and that's all I want them to do. Just have your finger on the pulse and just write a show. Look, if you still want Doctor Who to try and appeal to everybody, which I think he was the master at doing, then do that. But don't forget that it does have a fandom, and obviously.
But he knows. But that's awareness. That's showing very canny awareness.
Yeah, so he's very smart.
He knows exactly what he's walking into now, and he's with that speech. When you listen to the way he's talking, because there's a bit at the end of the speech that is missed by everybody else, where he says that people project their own feelings on their sci-fi shows because of their own deep-seated anger. And we have to be basically saying you have to be careful what you do, because it will be reflected in the audience and you will get that instant kickback, which has changed my opinion of Russell. I think that he's very switched on, and he's being and going to be very smart in this. I hope he is, because it looks like he is. And if he does and he writes it clever, we could be in, I'm saying this with trepidation, but we could possibly be in for one of the best series of Doctor Who in a very, very long time.
If that's exactly the way it's interpreted, but it's being misinterpreted by people out there, including
that's
myself.
The same with that's the same with it. Yeah, but that's the same with every text message. When you get a piece of writing, you read it in your mindset, not necessarily in the way it was written.
Yeah, exactly. The way he means it.
When I read it, I thought, you arsehole. I really did. Yeah. But then when I listened to him talking on that, the thing he was doing, it all made sense that that's not what he meant. He meant that he was going to be aware of the impact, instant impact of whatever he does. Which is clever.
That's clever. It means he's on it. He's on it. So I'm not. Look, I'm glad that you've changed your opinion on him. I think though, again, he still has to prove it. It's all and good talking. And Jack's I will say that he still has to prove it.
He said, what about all the other stuff he said before? Yes, he has said some ill-timed and poor things. But the truth of the matter is, perhaps with that speech there, perhaps he realised that he made a mistake.
Yeah.
And we also have to remember that in reality, he is still a human being.
And he understands Doctor Who, which is the point I've been trying to make. He knows Doctor Who is different to every other show. And now if he has his finger on the pulse when it comes to Twitter, that there is going to be an instant reaction. He's not going to take these things lightly that Chibs took lightly.
Exactly. He's going to think about what he's going to do.
Yeah.
And that's and therefore I think you will then probably get back to the classic series where it will be mentioned and tackled, but in a very subtle way.
Yeah.
And not rammed
your
down our
face.
throat, in our
Yeah.
face. It's going to be. We're talking about environmental impact, but it's going to be a very subtle thing because he's aware. But he's got, he's got to tackle it, but in a very gentle. And I'm hoping that's what I interpreted. Well, that's how I see how he was speaking. That maybe, just maybe, we're going to get a good series. I'm still cautious, of course, because of all the other things that he said. But as I've said, he's also a human being, and we're all entitled to our opinions about governments and politics and this, that, and the other. But perhaps I'm now more cautiously optimistic than I was before.
Yeah.
So there you go.
But not everyone has that,
Oh no, don't get me wrong.
Level of platforming and attention,
Yes.
And it's all well and good, but it just comes across as elitist, and that really puts people off, and it gets up people's noses.
I don't think anybody gave a fuck about his comments that he made about the Tories and them being murderers and lawyers. I think it was the occasion that he used to actually do it. I think everybody on the board kind of agreed with him because everybody was angry with the Tories anyway. I just don't think personally that any showrunner anyway, or actor or actress should be speaking politics. But that's the era that we live in. But I think it was mistimed more than that. Now, his comments about LGBTQ people being smarter than the rest of us now, I think that comment I have more of a problem with because,
can you imagine if it's the reverse? Can you imagine if it was the reverse? Can you imagine if it was a straight man who went on there and said, well, straight people are so much smarter than gay people or something like that? I mean, that wouldn't fly.
Yeah.
And there's no
you're right.
for that.
It'd be absolutely murder. And that's why I have a problem with that one more than anything else, because that one did show his narrow-mindedness. And I thought, and this is why I always
He's not been the same since he went to America. He went and stayed and lived in America. He's come back with all these woke ideology, like just instilled into him. He's been introduced to this, and he's obviously been surrounded by these people who've gotten to him somehow, and like
I think
everything
BBC
else.
getting pulled up with the interview though has kind of reined them in a little bit, and as Gobby said, then he's gone and said that. But again, I can understand why there's still people out there that have their doubts about RTD.
Yeah,
and,
don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. I'm still very cautious. I'm very cautious, but I've gone from very cautious to, I'll tell you what, I'll wait and see. So that's an improvement.
Yeah. Thanks, Greg.
Yeah. Thanks, Greg.
But we appreciate all the support.
Good man.
Yeah,
I was just typing that, and then for some reason I typed thanks, Greg, and I put a smiley face, and then it only puts a smiley face up.
It's doing it to me, probably. It's doing it to me.
I'll just ignore it. Just leave it. It's just
we'll see what happens. But look,
yeah.
I think either way, if there's still some optimism to have, because it can't get any worse than what we've had the last 5 years.
Don't.
Lee, of course, is always that voice. Lee is always that voice in the back of your head that's in the corner there on the stream that's always saying, like, no, just don't jinx it. But no, I honestly don't think it can be with RTD's past credentials and Doctor Who and what he's done since.
Daniel, I'm out due to these activists pouncing on me for 5 years. I'm not taking another 5 years of that. And that's it for a lot of people. They've been drummed out. Passionate people, passionate Doctor Who fans have been drummed out by people who don't give a shit about Doctor Who. They only give a shit about themselves, their self-identity, their own fucking narcissism, and that they can effectively colonize and take over something and make it their own and guard it and take it possessively into their clutches and fuck everyone else.
Big news. Apparently, Jody Whitaker's regeneration scene has been leaked on iTunes, and I'm getting a picture of it right now.
iTunes.
Oh my God! Someone leaked. Well done. Whoever did that. I normally condemn it, but well done.
Yeah, but if it's just
is it real or is it a joke?
Yeah, or is he just there having a poo on the toilet? I mean, that's good, you guys.
Hold on. Someone share it with me.
Can I just address Patrick here?
Yeah, go for it.
Patrick, mate, you like what you like. I've got a friend of mine who loves Star Trek Discovery and Star Trek Picard, and we don't argue about it. We just, disagree.
You know what? If you enjoy it, that's good.
Yeah,
Genuinely,
exactly.
I'm happy for you. I really am. I always say that. You enjoy what you want to enjoy,
Yeah.
It's just the way it is.
Yeah, she's on top of a cliff top. The TARDIS is there. It's red
it's gonna be a
inside.
cliff.
She's outside. I think I think iTunes have actually thrown up a fucking clip by accident of all the fucking shit that they're not supposed to. It was leaked. It's being leaked. Someone's leaked our regeneration.
Oh, I have to watch it. I just watch it.
Is it real though? Is it like?
Oh my god! Who does she regenerate into? Did someone watch the whole video? Who does she regenerate into? Tell us now. Is it David Tennant? It has to be David, but I mean, someone's iTunes has leaked the whole lot. I've got the screenshot here. It looks legit.
It's a bit early. 6 days to go.
Hold on. Someone might have thrown that. I'm gonna see if it's on YouTube right now.
Might be a disgruntled editor. Oh, disgruntled editor.
Oh my god! Here, I'll show you the screenshot.
Bring it on.
I'll show you the screenshot, and you'll see the image.
If you don't want to know what happened, look
Turn away now. Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. Potentially.
Alert.
Oh, it's only a
Or it could be a
still.
load of
It's
bollocks.
not a video. It's not a video.
just
Just
a
want to
still.
make it clear. It's only a still, but you see her outside the TARDIS. It's a small little picture. Regeneration scene. Actually, it's trending on fucking. Right now, nothing from it. Right, hold on. Let's get this up and show you. Can't believe this. Should I put this up? Will I get into trouble? Who cares?
It's all right.
Who cares?
Bang it
Do
on.
you know what? If iTunes, do you know what I can argue? Well, iTunes put it up.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
iTunes.
It's not you. It's
Not me. I'm just. I was just sent a screenshot. Hold on. Oh, did I get a video too? No, I didn't. Oh, I nearly got bleeding goosebumps there. That would have been nice. Oh, I'd play. I wouldn't give a shit. The channel would be taken down, but I'd play it.
We'll be cheering, mate.
Go out with a bang. What?
Don't root for
Spoil the
Patrick,
whole
though.
thing.
Don't root for Patrick.
Spoil it. I'm only messing Patrick. Right, look away. So
Yeah,
there
look
you go.
away
They've
now.
got the episode up there. They've got a trailer, and then they
Tea
have
break time, Patrick. Tea break time.
and then they've got behind the scenes, and you can clearly see Jodie is standing outside their TARDIS with the regeneration engine. She's at a cliff top there because there's the ocean, and there's the TARDIS there. Inside, it's orange. So the TARDIS inside is orange as well, but she's regenerating outside.
God, I know.
So she's on.
Is this iTunes or iPlayer?
that rumor.
Is it
iTunes.
iPlayer or iTunes?
I was told iTunes. JFO gave it to me. Ask him. He's in the chat.
Yeah.
So
You know what this is about, don't you?
So she is actually, that rumor that said she was on her cliff top and she was going to regenerate was actually right.
Yeah. You know the Irish guy in those flashbacks who fell off the cliff? It's her. The Irish cop that fell off the cliffs. It's
actually, the timeless child, Yawan, was thrown off a cliff as well. Remember that as well?
It's all master playing of a memory.
Oh, chuck her off a cliff, please, chuck her
so
off.
Patrick moves on with a 20 Australian dollar super chat. I'm probably alone in this, but I'm looking forward to the power of the Doctor. But it will be good to see the end of this era. And as I'll actually repeat what Gobby said. I've never had a problem with people liking this era. It's when people that have liked this era came to me and said to me that I can't have my opinions on it and forced me to try change mine. That's the only problem that I've had. But if you genuinely enjoyed it, I say, well done. I'm glad you found something that made you happy.
Exactly. That's all we want. That's all we want.
That's it.
Yeah.
So we'll see if that. I'm pretty sure it's on the forums somewhere. I say the forums that they won't allow me on. I say they're around. I say people have already seen a regeneration scene. If they've managed to get that, and I know that's just a screenshot, I'm pretty sure someone has actually seen the whole regeneration scene. And there's that little scumbag again, Andrew Jones, tagging that little Who girl. So little Who girl, if you don't know, our dad runs the account, and he brings her to all these conventions, and she has you know, she's been putting Matt's costume and other doctors' costumes, and now she's currently in Jody Whitaker's costume. She's been at recent Comic Cons with her dad. Now she's a little girl. She's about 4 or 5 or 6 or whatever, right? So she's young. This Andrew Jones fella, as you all know, who tags us all and is harassing people on their YouTube channels, keeps tagging this account that's run by our dad and me in tweets where he's giving out about me. He's an absolute. I told him already not to be doing this. That's someone else's account. Just because you have a problem with me, don't be roping other people into it. It's absolutely disgusting. Now I'm going to report you and block you like I've done, and this is probably the 120th now, I think it is, because I've kept count. I think this is the 120th Twitter account I've blocked from you now. That's a bit obsessive. I think you need help. You need help, mate.
Yeah.
Absolutely disgusting, vile individual who has gone after everybody in this. He's been trolling from the early days. He started off on Ballstreck's channel and Gary's channel. He was actually trolling them before I came on the scene, and then when I featured on one of their channels, then that was it. Then he locked his senses onto me and others, and anybody that's actually associated with me has actually been roped into this because he just won't leave it alone. Then he hides behind the fact that he's autistic and all of this.
No excuse.
Starts bringing up about his trans.
I don't do that.
His trans gay uncle. What relevance that has to any conversation that we have on Twitter, I do not know. But the guy is clearly deranged and he needs help. So he needs to stop tagging me in innocent people's accounts. That's absolutely disgusting. But this is what we've had to deal with. And
he's clearly not getting the help at home.
Yeah.
So where's his wonderful gay trans uncle then? Why is he not looking after him? Unlike seems like no one else is. So sad, really. But what can you do?
Yeah. Well, anyway, this all ends in 6 days' time, and they can kick and actually, we're coming into the new day now, so it'll be 5 soon. But they can kick and scream all they want now for the next 5 days or whatever, and days after. It doesn't make a difference. They're screaming into a void now. It's over, and it's done. And I hope our regeneration scene has been leaked. I'm sorry to people that genuinely love it, but to all those that harassed and bullied, I'm glad it's ruined for them because, you know, they deserve to have it ruined. You don't deserve to have it nice.
Well, I doubt it'll ruin it for them anyway. You know, I doubt.
No, they
really
probably not.
Genuinely give a shit. Quite honestly, I think they're just pretending that they like
take
it.
hundreds of stills of it, throw it up everywhere, and say, "Oh, it was on Jodie's performance, the best regeneration performance I've ever seen in the show's history. She's their bestest ever."
Because they haven't watched any Classic Who or anything anyway.
Yeah.
Or anything prior to Jody Whitaker.
Oh, man.
I'll tell you what, though, I'm really looking forward to this regeneration. Really, really looking forward to it.
Yeah, I would
never
look
said
forward
that
to so I can actually see the proper doctor regenerate. So she's gone and we get a proper doctor.
Yeah.
And even if it's for a couple of seconds of David Tennant go, what's going on? What? I don't care.
Yeah.
It's still better than that, and she's done in 5 years. So, like, bring it on.
Her regeneration is the best thing you should have ever done.
Bring it on.
It'll be funny going, I'm an angry Scottish man again.
You never know, man. Yeah. She might actually go out on a high.
From a high.
Yeah, you'd have to be high to believe it. Yeah.
I can't even say that with a straight face anymore. I can't.
From a high.
Listen, we've been hoping that Chris Chibnall go out on a high since Series 11. And he hasn't managed to fucking do that, so I don't expect them to give us any miracles or perform any miracles on the last ever episode.
So Jodie's best ever speech will be the one when she says goodbye. That'd be nice.
Just be goodbye.
Beautiful.
Whee!
No, you'll just the camera will zoom in, and you'll just get that last scrunchy face as it disappears.
So does that mean from that picture, if it's real, that Tennant will appear in her clothes.
No.
That's the one thing. That's the one thing that I actually will say there. That might be the start of her regeneration.
Should have regenerated her in that orange spacesuit, and then save the incoming actor any embarrassment.
But what I think is, they're ripping off the Hartnell story and Peter Capaldi story. I think she's going to try and ignore the regeneration and refuse to regenerate. And I think that might be just her refusing there to regenerate. Because if David Tennant actually does regenerate into her costume, that will be interesting, just to say the least. But I can't see it happen. Lee, can you see that happen? Him regenerating into her costume? I know that frame.
As I said, she should regenerate. She should regenerate. Well, I mean, assuming that picture is right, you know. Should have been in the spacesuit, save the actor embarrassment, and then having imagine the regeneration energy from within the suit. I mean, that would be awesome, you know. And then he'd take the helmet off, and he'd be like, "What?"
I still think that'll happen. I think that image, that still that we're seeing there, might be a little bit deceiving. To be quite honest, I think that is a genuine still. But what I'm saying is, I think, the regeneration part of it is interesting. I think that's the only interesting part.
Yeah, but we've seen lots of them now, and this one, but
this one is the most anticipated because we're getting rid of her.
Well, yeah, I mean, getting rid of her, but you know, I don't know. I'm just it hasn't really ramped up in my mind at all. Actually, I'm so apathetic right now that
anybody looking forward to it?
Such a joke.
Anybody in the chat, anybody on the panel, Lee's already made these feelings clear on it. But which is fair enough. No, but I'll ask the rest. Is anybody bar Patrick? Patrick obviously is interested in the centenary special. Is there anybody actually even excited for this in the chat? Or any of you guys on the panel? Any of you? I could tell you I'm not really excited, but I am interested in the regeneration scene.
I'm excited for the last 10 minutes. That's it.
Well, that's at least you're being honest. 10 minutes. The last 10 minutes is any. Well, I suppose that's the most excitement you've probably gotten from this era.
9 minutes of that will drag.
Probably will. Or expulsion on screen. Gobby, Arton, you looking forward to it?
No.
That's straightforward.
Straightforward. I'll be glad when it's over. To be fair, I mean, everybody's going to look forward to the regeneration, but it's going to be bittersweet, isn't it? Really, because everybody's it's going to be a shame that that's the only little bit we're looking forward to. And if they screw that up, which there's a distinct possibility that they can, oh my dear Lord.
Oh, Gobby, you did have to put that out there, didn't you?
I'm sorry, but
you did, didn't you? Because I was kind of thinking nobody's brought it up yet, but they could really fuck this whole entire thing up.
Really, I mean, this is Chris Chibnall. This is Chris Chibnall. Let's be honest now.
We'll
probably forget. I mean, come on. How many times has he wrote something and he had a great plotline, then halfway through completely forgot what he was doing and made some other random shit up?
Man, he has to at least give us one good thing. Come on.
No, he won't.
No.
He's going to forget. He's going to forget what he did. Really? It's just going to be rushed. It's going to be rushed.
We watch the regeneration at the start of it and thinking that she's regeneration and she'll go, whoops, not happening. Just fade to black. That'll be it.
It'd be great if she regenerated on a glass floor. And then the floor smashes beneath her and she falls right
through her own glass.
And as she falls through, David Tennant looks up and goes, oops. And then takes one step to the side as she hits the floor. I don't know. I mean, thing is, it's Chibnall. It's just Chibnall, and you can't get away from the fact that he just does everything so shit. I mean, look at Legend of the Sea Devils. I mean, come on.
Do we have a
nightmare?
Exactly, and that is his last but one. I just think it's judging by the trailer, it's too full of stuff. And when things get too full, he loses track of what he's doing. He loses track of things, and then it'll just be another rushed ending. It really will. I've just got this horrible feeling it's going to be the worst regeneration ever. I really do. I need more alcohol.
best of the worst, isn't it? Really?
Yeah. No, I mean, I need more JD. I really do. But no, I don't know. I'm not looking forward to it. I'll be honest. I really am not.
Are you going to get pissed? I'm going to get pissed.
So what's your plan? Are you doing your own stream, or would you
No,
like to
no.
be part of
Well, it
our
depends.
extravaganza?
It depends on whether I'm stuck babysitting the kids. So I'll let you know closer to the date.
Well, if you don't turn up for the watch along, you can come on the panel if you're around.
Well,
I mean, I'm doing 2 streams.
Cry and just
If you
we'll see how it
in.
goes. I'll let you know any case.
Yeah.
But, we'll wait and see. I mean, I will watch it. But really, I don't know. I really don't know. It's
one of them, isn't it? And I can hear everybody's getting tired. So what we'll do is, because we're going 3 hours and 33 minutes, I think we've done air duels.
You think?
Talking about this? Yeah. I think we covered everything now. So look, obviously there'll be more stupid articles come out. There'll be no point in talking about them because it'll be the same old shite that they've actually talked about when she first took over the role. So roll on Sunday. We'll be here Sunday. We'll be concentrating on the other watch-alongs that we do and the other stuff that we do now until Sunday, unless they come out with something absolutely even more ridiculous than what they've come out with. That's me done now talking about this. I think we kind of covered the last 5 years as well, which is good. So, it was nice to talk Garrett all out of our systems now until Sunday. Sunday is the big
it's
night.
A big one.
And whether you are looking forward to it or not, join us anyway, because it will be fun. We'll make sure it will. Watching their faces reacting to this episode is going to be something special. I can tell you that. So coming, and there will be plenty of alcohol consumed.
Mm-hmm.
So you'll notice, because you'll notice as the stream goes on and the longer it goes on, how the alcohol is affecting us, because we'll probably be sitting there in stitches watching this, because it's going to be a train wreck. That's the one thing that can be guaranteed. If it's visually beautiful, so that's code word for it.
It doesn't matter if the canon's going to be completely obliterated at that point. I'll be like, okay, I'm done.
It's a worthy sacrifice.
What we'll do is we'll wrap up by going around the panel, and everybody will do their shout outs and stuff like that. And Daniel is like, the fandom has been ruined. It has, but look, like everything else, there's a chance that one day the fandom may become a place where
one day,
everybody
when these fuckers finally grow up, maybe
when they grow up, maybe, but then the next generation are probably going to be worse than them if we're going by this generation, because
hopefully the next generation,
because when they have kids, their kids are going to be absolutely self-entitled.
The kids will hate them. The kids will grow up hating them.
Well, hopefully we get hopefully we get a generation that actually say no and stop to all this nonsense, and maybe we might get somewhere. But let's go around the panel anyway, and we'll start with Lee because he's short and sweet. So Lee, your socials, please.
How dare you call me short and sweet? Well, sweet's all right, but short, whatever. Okay, so you can follow me on Instagram at Audred Audio Visual. It's AUDRED, audio visual, one word. And the same as my YouTube channel.
Thank you very much. As I said, short and sweet. Next, we go to Gobby Guy.
You can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, anything else. All Gobby Guy except for Facebook, which is Guy Gobby, because some arsehole nicked Gobby Guy. And if I find out who it is, I swear to God, I'm going to hunt you down and kill you like the dog that you are.
I will find you, and I will
find you. I will kill you. I will kill you dead. And then obviously on YouTube,
metaphorically speaking, YouTube. Metaphorically,
exactly.
Shit. Oh, Christ!
Anymore, is it? No,
Jesus.
No. Demonetized.
I'm also. I think I'm on Pinning. I'm on everything because Gobby Guy. Why not? Because
there you
YouTube
go.
Channel. There you go, and that's it, really. And Daniel, just before I go any further, Daniel. The fandom isn't broken. It's broken. It's just separated into the good and the bad.
And the
then-
ugly.
And the ugly.
Well, yeah,
The-
I was going to say, where do we fit?
Patrick.
And
Well-
Patrick.
well,
yeah.
I guess you could argue on both sides, but they're ugly on the
The middle
inside more than
ground.
anything.
Well, Patrick is in the good because Patrick liked some of the area,
talked
but
to
he's
us,
he's
yeah.
always been here, so he's the good. Then we've got the bad, which are just the people that are just bad, and then we've got the ugly, and they're the ones that harass, bully, threaten, and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
The good, the bad, the ugly.
There you go.
And who's next? PD.
Okay, you can find me on Rabbis in the chat normally when I'm not at parties and stuff. Could you subscribe to Join Jack Rabbit's channel, Daniel Leach's, and Dan Padley from the Spacebook, please?
Fantastic.
Scottish
And,
socials and friends.
and he's got airs and graces about him now. This gobby guy one going to fancy dinners and all. I wish we could all fucking do that, but there you go. Well done, living the charmed life there, man.
PD Rich going to parties.
Yeah, parties, yeah.
invited to a
Lordy
party.
fucking da.
I'll tell you where I was last night. Guess where I was last night? I was at Robbie Williams concert in Birmingham. Oh,
Nice.
My
Yes.
sympathies.
no, it was
No,
all right, actually. It was
he's actually a great performer.
I'll be
He's
honest. It was a damn good performance, and it was enjoyable. But there you go.
No, he is. He's actually great live. He's a good showman. He is.
The show
He's
was
just
awesome.
he's just a bit of a weirdo, but he's a great singer, man. I actually think his songs are great. He's very underrated, Robbie Williams.
Yeah,
Well,
I went with the wife. So
all
I
different
spent a bit of time with her. That'll do for
That's
another
it.
6 weeks.
That's it. That's it. Until that's it. You have the game played
I've
well.
done my bit. I've done my bit now.
That's it. That's you in the good books for 6 weeks now, and
Yeah,
then
yeah.
you have to do
Oh, well,
something else.
hold on. No, it's 4 weeks, isn't it? Because that time of the month, then when I automatically become the enemy.
yeah.
Oh,
no,
you're screwed
Moving
now.
on.
moving on.
Anyway, you can find me here all week, and we will be here for that weekend extravaganza. It's going to be funny as hell, I can tell you that. So come and join us for that. And I would echo the channels that were mentioned as well. So Draw and Jack Rabbit, Scottish Stavros and Friends Wrestle with Pop Culture going. Check out their channel as well. Dan from the Spacebook, as was mentioned, and definitely go and check out Gobby Guy's channel.
Yeah.
Get them all sub there now. Get over there now and sub to
I've been stuck at 204 for far too long now. It's been a lot.
come on, get them up to 250 at least.
No,
Come on.
205 will do.
Right, come on, get them up there. Get them up there. No, he's all joking aside. His channel deserves to have more subscribers. So go and check him out.
Do it.
And
Do it.
let me see.
Do it.
Let me
Do
see.
it.
Is there
Do it
any other-
now.
Oh yeah, and
To the
of course they
chopper.
dropped in a super chat earlier on. So go and check out the Legend of the Traveling Tardis
absolutely.
as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So
it's good.
And as I said, we'll have a very big panel, and I might have some old returning panelists, and that's all I'm going to say. I am not going to mention any names, but we will have some returns this weekend as well. So look out for that.
Sloppy seconds.
Talking behind the scenes, trying to bring everybody together for the last one. I started out with a group of people on this journey doing panels together. And I suppose on the night of the last one, it's only right that we try bring some of these people back and see if they're willing to come on. And I've reached out to a couple of them, and I've gotten a couple of yeses. So we will have some returning guests coming, whether it's for the watch along or the panel. We don't know yet. We're trying to earn that out right now. But it's you will have to wait until the weekend to find out. I'm not going to give that away, but I had to mention something because there is a few surprises. Obviously, the weekend. It's only right that we do it with the people that we've shared this journey with, and we shared the journey with a lot of people.
Painful, murderous, vile.
But it's over now.
Arduous.
It's over now, and we can all get out there. We can all get out our record single, "Ding Dong, the Witch is Dead," and all of that, and all the other songs that you want to sing while celebrating and jumping on your sofa.
Celebrate good
Break
times.
good times, come on.
That was running through my head earlier. It's like, but then no one would get a copyright strike. You know.
Where'd Gobby go?
Oh,
Come back, Gobby. Come back. Come back.
Oh, that's probably his internet. But here, before we do wrap it up anyway, before I come on live, I will be listening to some celebratory songs as I always do to get myself G'd up for the episode. So, you know, get your playlist in. You're going to be pissed. I'll try not get pissed before you come on and get pissed while you're watching because, like, I want to actually get... Well, I want to be able to get a cohesive sentence out of you.
You're asking me to be sober and sit through an hour and 20 minutes.
I don't want you to be fucking catatonic.
Just to get into the
well,
mood.
You can't be catatonic, right? You know?
Sorry.
I
don't know what the fuck happened then. I really don't know what happened then.
Right. Before we leave you tonight...
we
leave you tonight, anyway, we just want to say, all of us on the panel, I know I speak for them all, but we just want to thank you actually for the last few years of support. As I said, we all have come a long way. We've all went on our own personal journeys. I just wish mine had been a little bit smoother, but we got here in the end, right? And that's the main thing. But look, as Gobby said earlier, this is the thing that we're most proud of. Is this community here that we've all built up, and we all have our own little communities on our channel that all come together on everybody else's channel. That's what's great about it. Everybody supports each other. But this is the one thing that we can be proud of and can take away from this era is that it brought us all together. So never let anybody out there tell you that you are this, that, and the other. Remember, you've made friends along the way here, right? You've all came together in a common goal, right? Which was the talk of your love of Doctor Who and your despair of how it was being destroyed. And nobody will ever be able to take that away from you. So, with that said, thank you. We will say goodnight to you.
Drawing Jack Rabbit says he wants to come on. I think we should have him.
Too late now. We're going.
Well, we're going now.
No, not now. Not now.
Oh,
for the bloody panel, you
dog. And I said anybody that... Right, listen to me again. So before I do go, because obviously people haven't heard me the first time round. So if you want to be part of either the watch-along or the review panel, you've got to specify which one you would like to be on, because I'm trying to get people on both and try, mix it up a little bit. There will be still a couple of people, the main panelists that will be on both panels. That's the way it just works out, right? But for the rest of these, we're going to try mix these all into different panels. So let me know which panel you want to be part of. If I can get you into the two of them, all well and good. But specify which one you would prefer to do, right? And we kick off the watch along at 7:15, 15 minutes before the episode starts itself. We come on air 15 minutes before it starts. Then we end at 9 when the episode ends, and then we take a 15-minute break, and then we're back then for the review panel. Both streams are up right now, by the way. So I'm checking on them as well, because someone has already left in the comment, how do I come on? So if you can't get me on Messenger or any of them, make sure you run a message in there, because I check them all the time, just to make sure that there are no J-bots in there trolling. I'll remove them before we even start, you know what I mean? So I'm checking it. So if you want to be on, let me know and specify which one. So there you go. That's the final message of the night. So I'll say good night to you all. Say good night, panel.
Night, panel.
Good night, panel.
You just can't help himself.
It's all but good. It's all but good.
Right, I have to stop laughing now.
Which panel are you talking to, dear boy?
Whichever one wants to be relevant, old chap.
Right. We will see you
I've been
again
thoroughly
for
undermined.
another fun-filled laughter stream. You know, they all say that we don't do any fun on this channel. Of course we do. We're always having a laugh. It's just they don't know what a laugh is. But anyway, this has been the Tardis Zone.
If you're not
We'll
over
see
mine.
you. We'll see you soon. And we'll see you tomorrow because I'm pretty sure Jody and Chris will say something stupid.
As usual.
You know we'll have to
Didn't like
comment
it
about
because.
that. Right, I'm going before I'm gonna keel over here. Goodbye, everybody.
Oh.
Bye.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.